Hey, Bird, you all right? Boy. Got a pretty good crowd, don't you? Hey, Adam, I ain't gonna speak to you next time. Head's full of we got about 22. We got about 22. Thank you, sir. Oh, we got a lot of speakers tonight. I had people in, and I needed to pay some
Right there. They're not very short though.
There's two come up the hill. I guess they told them. I told them. Start cleaning their license. I told them, I said, I just don't want you to be happy with that.
She's going to try to find her place to sit. Looks like.
She went back sit on the front row.
I know. I'm
Okay, we got a minute, I think.
It's already right here. It's already 30, ready? Yeah.
Yep, about 31.
Hey, make it come to order. I appreciate everybody being here. Looks like I got a good turnout tonight. And let's see. Call to order. I guess let's see, Mike. You want to say the prayer? Okay. It's Mike Penner, Methodist preacher. He's a good guy.
You're on this board. Well, it must be an interesting night. I see that you led off with AC/DC's Highway to Hell. And then it ended with AC/DC's TNT. I see about half my church here. This is going to be some kind of meeting. I want to say to my church members, be nice. I don't care what the music is. Be nice. Thank you all for being here. Let's pray together. Father, I thank you for this good and decent and godly, compassionate community in which you've allowed all of us to live. I thank you tonight, Lord, for the beauty of this region, for these mountains, these streams that always speak to us of your creative power. Lord, we live in such a rare place, and we thank you for it. Help us, Lord, to take care of it. Tonight, Lord, we pray that you would be in this meeting, that you would bring your wisdom into this room, that you would remind us all that we are neighbors. Help us, Lord, to follow the pattern of Jesus' teaching when he said to his disciples, this new commandment I give you, that you love one another. Help us, Lord, to be those kinds of people here tonight. Lord, I pray for this meeting, and I pray that you would lead Unicoi to times of great success, Lord, and lead this town to even deeper understandings of our culture and our society and our faith in one another. Lord, I thank you that there is indeed a church on every corner in this community. I thank you, Lord, for the good and godly people here. All of this we ask in the name of Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
You'll excuse me, I'm late to a 5:30 meeting, so I'll take off. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Do we have a representative here from 4-H? If not, then Mark Phillips Hill, do the pledge.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Seth, you want to do roll call?
Alderman Day. Here. Alderman Lemon.
Here.
Alderman Phillips. Here. Vice Mayor Radford.
Here.
Mayor McIntyre.
Here. Okay, we're going to approve I have a motion to approve the BMA meeting, the workshop that was on February the 19th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Alderman Day. Yes. Alderman Lemon.
Yes.
Alderman Phillips. Yes. Vice Mayor Radford.
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on. Do I have a motion to approve, the BMA meeting on February the 20th?
Motion approved. Second. Alderman Day. Yes. Alderman Lemon.
Yes.
Alderman Phillips. Yes. Vice Mayor Radford.
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay, now we have opportunity for citizens' comment. Previous request. Okay, let's see. Adam Burton.
Yeah, I'd like to speak about the noise ordinance.
Okay, you come right on and talk to us.
The podium, please.
That way it'll pick it up on here, what you say.
I'm Adam Burton, if you don't know me. I've lived here most of my life, all my life. I was thinking today, I don't really recall anybody ever bothered me when I sleep or keep me up, except fireworks season. Or, train whistle might keep you up every once in a while, which I miss that, I like to hear it. My question is, if you wanna mow your yard, everybody's gonna retire. You mow your yard, 8:30, there's noise ordinance. You blow your leaves or weed eats. And another question, fire department's got a benefit down here, they sell fireworks. So, what gives the fireworks got to shoot in the daylight? That's all I've got to say about that. And another thing too, there's a petition going around to unincorporate the town, you guys all know that. And I believe this would be a big step in that direction. If that's true. I appreciate your second step.
Okay, thank you, Adam, for your input. All right. Bob Keenan?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bob Keaton. I live on Washington Street. My wife and I are new to Unicoi. As you can tell, I'm from Northern Tennessee from my accent. We moved here not to have all these ordinances put into the, like our community in Rhode Island. We had an ordinance for everything. You couldn't do anything at a certain time. Or you couldn't have a car that you were rebuilding in your yard without being registered and insured. I couldn't put my commercial truck in the yard because it's an ordinance, you can't do it. We moved here not to have ordinances. That's, like I said, I didn't even want to go my lawn after 8 o'clock, after it starts cooling down in the summer. I don't want to use my road when it cools down. Sometime, I mean, the winter time, obviously, you're not doing that. It's just, we don't want government intrusion on our life. That's why I love Rhode Island, because of the government intrusion. I just want the government, I'll be a good neighbor. If someone says, hey, do you mind if you could do this? I'm more than happy to accommodate any one of my neighbors. I just don't want government intrusion. And again, what that gentleman just said, I know there is a petition going around to unincorporate the towns. If we do that, we're gonna have no say whatsoever, because everything's gonna come out of Earl. And that's the way I feel.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much. Okay, Richard Anderson.
Mayor, if there's anybody else, you got anything to say on Summers Taylor, you let them speak first, and then I'd speak. Because y'all heard me,
Well,
2 different meetings, or I'll speak,
we've got the time. We don't mind for you to speak your mind. That's what you're here for.
which I know I don't have to introduce myself to you folks, but I'm Richard Anderson, I live at 5921 Unicoi Drive, I'm a lifelong resident. Where I live on the same farm, been there nearly 80 years. But I have a question for number one. Has Summers Taylor turned in a site plan for the ground that they scout there at the asphalt plant?
So, a representative from Summers Taylor is here tonight to speak. I'll let them clarify any kind of outstanding questions like that. There is a TDEC approved plan. We had to place a stop work order on until we saw this plan. It wasn't presented to the town beforehand, but we have laid eyes on a TDEC approved site plan for what they're doing up there as far as erosion control, all that kind of stuff. But I'll let the representative from Summers Taylor up there give the information.
Okay, let me say this before whoever speaks there is, any expansion of that asphalt plant is no. That was taken care of, to my understanding, down here at the elementary school back when Summers bought that Bill Hyde out there house down. And which my understanding was everything pertaining to running asphalt has to be contained within that 2 acres. Well, that's already been a violation in the last 2 years of the recycled asphalt being piled up on the outside of this. So what their plans is with that knob up there, I'd like to find out before I say anything else.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Next, we've got Dan Moore.
Thank you all for having me. My name is Dan Moore. I've been here since probably the early 80s. Built Unicoi Hospital for animals down here years and years ago. I'm kind of here for the same reason as Richard is. It sounds like I had no clue what's going on where the fires were the other night. In fact, the fires is what brought it to my attention. I have heard rumors that maybe for equipment and so on, which is not going to be a pleasant view for me, to say the least, and probably many other people as well. I would certainly be opposed to any type of expansion along those lines, certainly not extending the quarry itself. And like Richard, I remember those days, Richard, when the asphalt plant was confined to 2 acres. Thank you for bringing that up and reminding me as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. Is there anybody else here has comments that didn't put in a request?
Good evening. My name is Wayne Steinke. I live on off of Garland Road. And to address two gentlemen that were just before me, I've also heard another rumor that they're going to get ready to blast. That's why they scalped that property.
They saw the limestone.
I've also did a little research on that property up there. There's 3 different entities that own that property up there, several different parcels. We got Aggregates USA, parentheses, Unicoi LLC, in care of the tax department. Now, whatever that means, who knows? But they're out of Lexington, Kentucky. All this information is come off the Tennessee Property Viewers website. Anybody can look this up. Look up your own parcels, whatever. The largest parcel they have is Aggregates USA, comprises 72.8 acres, of which it's zoned farm. They have 4 acres that's zoned commercial. Now, if you look on that map, it'll give you the approximate boundary lines of their property. I don't know if anybody can see this. Their property consists up here. You can see the quarry. That's way more than 4 acres. I don't know why TDEC, I have no faith in them whatsoever, does not even check on this stuff. The other one is Construction Paving Services. Their address is 320 Bill Garland Road. They have 3 parcels listed also, the largest being 14.3. When you look up the property, it lists 1 acre is commercial. The other parcel they have is 23 acres. It's listed as pasture, 17 acres. Other one is woodland, 6 acres. 2 acres are registered as commercial. And you can tell by the picture that's way larger than 2 acres. Same with Summers Taylors. They own 4 little parcels. Their address is 600 Sevier Street, Johnson City. Now, what I'd like to know is, the parcel where they scalped that hill, that's zoned residential. Now, how does this all get zoned? And they're doing all this stuff. This is coming off the Tennessee Property Viewer. This is Tennessee State. This is all information off the Property Viewer's website. They have, as a matter of fact, they have 1 parcel that's zoned commercial. That's that 2 acres everybody's talking about. The rest of it is zoned residential. Summer Taylor's bought. It's unbelievable that it's all zoned residential, farmland, woodland, except for very few parts of them, zoned commercial. Another thing I really would like to address is the blasting. They don't give notice when they blast. Last Friday, they blasted about 11 o'clock in the morning. My whole house shakes. I know Miss Lemming, she lives close by me. It's about half a mile as a crow flies from my house to that quarry. Sometimes even worse than that. My neighbor called me up one time, I lived right across the street. He said, "Did you feel that blast?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Everything, all the glass in his house was shaking." I've spoken to people that live off of Marlton Road, about 2 miles from the quarry. They blast. She was telling my wife the other day, because she's my wife's hairdresser, she felt it out that far. I mean, the ordinances are great, but the blasting is a bigger culprit right there. That's what I feel. That's the real issue. Somebody's got to get the blasting under control. I got cracks in my walls. I look around my house, I have a brick exterior, my bricks are cracked in half. Are they going to assume responsibility? Probably not. But that's something to think about. What they should have did before they started blasting, they should have went around and checked everybody's home for any foundational damage. Because they're going to say, well, that wasn't us. But that's why I just wanted to bring to light is 3 different entities own property up there. Who's really in charge? Thank you.
Thank you for your information. Is there anyone else?
Hey guys, I'm Diane Lynch. I live at 4006 Washington. I'm right below the tunnel. The trucks go up. I'm right there. I feel everything. When they blasted the other day, it kind of scared me because used to walk where they would give you a sign, you know, they'd blow a horn or whatever. They did something. They would let you know something was going on. And yes, they would nice, they would come talk to you and stuff, but you guys don't do nothing. You're in my yard. Used to, the road was the same. Two trucks would always pass. You guys were in our road, in my yard, and on the other side of the road too. You walk behind the barn, and y'all line up. Now y'all had about 10 lined up. You either going up the hill or down the hill. Makes no difference, or 10 of y'all. I mean, it's just, and y'all do the Jake break, you know? I don't like that at all. You come down the hill, beside the house, down Bill Barber Road. And you come up Marvin.
Could you address the board?
I'm sorry, I'm just talking because,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I am so sorry.
Yeah, we're just not here to attack anybody, we're here.
Well, I'm not here to attack anybody either. I mean, I know that they're trying to handle everybody. I got that. Don't run over me.
Oh, no, I'm just,
You know, I mean, I'm telling, it's just the way it is, you know? I'm not a real good speaker, but you know, I'll tell you what's on my mind. I'll live it on. So, but anyway, I agree with everything that he's saying. You know, I get a lot of the blast. And, I don't know, I just kind of fed up with it. You know, they do like 50 miles an hour down the road. I'm not lying. I promise you, they come flying down the road. They ran over some of my chickens, you know. Wow. Come on, guys, just give me a break, you know. They make you sit in your driveway while they go up the road. Instead of stopping and letting you out of your driveway because you got somewhere to go. And I just wonder if they get paid by the load because they go so fast. You know what I'm saying? That's just me and my crazy head. But anyway, that's all I'd like to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Anyone else?
I didn't put my name down, but anyway, I'm Kim Rutherford, and I've actually, I've been in this whole entire thing for 25 years. I live directly beside the asphalt plant. You know, I work with Grant, I've been trying to work with Grant as much as I can. And everything everybody's bringing up here, there's so many different entities that everybody who has spoke with. You know, we've got the noise pollution. You know, it's me, Diane, Mr. Anderson, a whole lot of us that are very close to all that. And to everybody who's speaking about, as far as the noise, there's not any of us up there that care, that are for the noise ordinance. We don't care about fireworks. We don't care about people shooting their guns. We don't care about anybody having your basic country living that we all moved here for, that we all still live here for. You know, we're not for that. I mean, we're totally for people having their freedom as far as noise and what they do at their own house. What we mostly are concerned about is the noise of the industry and the industrial stuff. That when you live right out there where just 2 or 3 or 4 of us are very close to, and we all live, you know, we are the ones who every day endure the trucks, the noise, the brakes, starting at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, and going to who knows where, to what time. But so far, you know, it hadn't been that bad as far as the asphalt plant goes. So I'm not really here to address the asphalt plant. Yes, am I concerned about what the hill is and what they took off of the mountain? I am. I try to stay in touch with Summers and Taylors and Grant, and I try to go back and forth. Not that I'm for it. Who would be for it? I mean, just somebody come to my house. Come to my house at 6:30 in the morning, and I look out my bedroom window and I see dump trucks flying back up, literally, from here to that wall. That's where I live. To all of you all that have no idea. You know, and I'm trying to work with Summers and Taylors to do that, but everybody who spoke up here, including the gentleman who had the different pieces of property and land, well, there's a whole lot that goes into that particular stuff of what people are talking about. I mean, like I said, I've been there 30 years. I've been to every meeting, I've got every piece of paperwork, I've got everything that's ever come down the line. As far as like what's been zoned, what hadn't, what's been approved, what hadn't been approved, you know, I mean, I've got all that. Yes, the 2 acres has been something that has never changed, no matter how many different meetings we've had, no matter how many people come in. The 2 acres has never changed, as far as like where the asphalt plant can run. It was even to at one time that, you know, Bill Hyder couldn't even build that building. He couldn't even, but he got that was approved. But you know, it was also that he couldn't even set trucks over there. You know, he had to prove that he had no equipment, what was sitting over there, nothing else that would expand that plant. And I have all the paperwork from old meetings where all that stuff was decided. But there's so many different entities. I mean, the quarry's been blasting forever, for an eternity. You know, I mean, yes, are they completely shaking us off our rockers and stuff now? Absolutely, 100%. You know, I don't know what we can do about that because of the fact of what they're up there doing it for. You know, I mean, those are emergency circumstances. I don't know, you know. I've called them several times. I have a seismograph sitting in my yard. I agreed to do that for them so that we could like measure. And after so many months, we're not quite there. Whoever wants one, you can get a printout. You can see exactly what it is that and what the scales and what the blasts are doing. So, you know, that's something I agreed to do with the quarry, just so we would know, you know, what is this doing to my foundation? What are these doing to these homes that are close to us? But, you know, I guess I'm mostly here today for just the noise ordinance, because the noise ordinance is something we've tried to get for a really long time. And like I said, there's nobody, we're all country people. I grew up here. I live here and have my whole entire life. There's none of us that don't want people to shoot fireworks, to shoot guns, to have parties, to have a good fun time, good country living. You know, the only thing that I'm here to speak about is just the industrial part of it. I don't know if there can be some other kind of wording in a noise ordinance that says you can put, you know, you can do this, or is it just a straight cut across the board, you know, no noise, or can you all specify exactly what kind of noise can be there or can't be there or whatever. So I don't know, that was mostly my reasoning for being here today. And like I said, everybody I know it affects the whole entire town of Unicoi, but you know, everybody in the whole entire town of Unicoi don't have dump trucks with J brakes and don't have blast and don't have equipment and don't have all the noise that all of us who are very close there endure 24/7 every day, especially when everything is in full operation. So, you know, I feel like Mr. Anderson, I feel like Diane, I feel like anybody else that we've talked to would be in agreement with me. I mean, you know, I don't think any of us are against, you know, good old yeehaw farm living. That's not why I'm here. I mean, I'm just here to address what can we do about the industrial part of it and the heavy equipment and maybe in some of that. And like I said, I don't know whether or not that's a possibility. I don't know if it's like straight out noise ordinance and this is what it is. So I don't know. I'll leave that thought up to the board. But anyway, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Well, is there anyone else? Okay, so now.
Well, before we go on, again, as an alderman, I'd like to speak and I agree with everyone. I'm not here to say we shouldn't be doing it the best we can to try to rebuild and repair. 3 tornadoes hit my home and I'm not even halfway through getting it done. So, well, I can totally understand that. It's just, it's a horrible devastation. I just wanted to throw, I've always been for a noise ordinance, and I know that's not a popular thing, and I'm sure I won't be reelected next time anyway, but some of the reasons I now have a residential home that is right in my backyard that has been turned into an Airbnb. Airbnbs are very unique animals, and there's not a lot we can do about them, but when they get out there, I think they're trying to turn that into a rifle range, which we have one going up towards the cove, and we have plenty of places there. Starting Saturday morning at 5 a.m. at my house, just below my house, there were automatic weapons, as many as 10 men out there shooting automatic weapons, and they were rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. And I do have rescue animals. They're older, they're traumatized. I'm traumatized. I mean, I can take a few hours of it. I can't take 6 hours every Saturday, Sunday, and during the week. And so I'm just, again, I know it's not popular, but we're not talking about people playing in their pool or running a lawnmower or anything else. I'm a farmer. I do all of that. But the other side of that is when you talk to your neighbor and you plead with them, please have mercy. They don't. And a lot of the people, like I said, they're in and out. They're from out of state. They come and go. They stay. Sometimes they stay. Right now, we've got railroad people that I mentioned at the last BMA are coming in there in red trucks. They've been there probably 2 months. Don't know what they're doing, but they take plastic containers out of the back of their trucks when they come in the evening and throw it into the fire pit, and it shoots 14 feet into the air. The next morning, you can't breathe. You can't even walk outside. Your eyes are watering. I've had congestion forever. I live just down the mountain from all that's going on from Mr. Anderson and Kim and Diane. And my house is shaking. I don't have a lot left of my house right now after the tornadoes. I don't have anything left of my barn. So I'm not trying to be facetious, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. I'm simply saying, those of you who live in quiet little pockets of the town of Unicoi, I don't think anybody's gonna come after you if you're doing things, or shooting fireworks, or playing in the pool, or doing what you do, or even shooting guns. I'm living with a massive hunter right now. My husband hunted for years, and I understand these things, but I'm saying there's something different about asking, please don't stand out there and shoot an automatic weapon. I don't know how they afford the ammunition. I mean, I couldn't afford it, and I don't know how they do that, but they stand out there and they shoot and they shoot and they shoot and they shoot. And it goes on till sometimes 6 in the evening, sometimes into the nighttime. And we're talking about very early morning hours. So I've complained about this before, but now that we have such a large crowd, just trying to let some of you all know some of the other side of the story. We're not going out in your backyard and getting ready for hunting season and shooting your gun, shooting your rifle. That's fine. That is what we do here. But this is abnormal. This is very different. When you ask your neighbor to please consider being kind and not doing things like that, they don't listen. They don't care. They just kind of walk away and do what they're going to do. So, like I said, I knew it wasn't going to be popular. It's never popular when I speak, but I have to say what's on my mind. And as far as that mountain, I know, but honestly, the EPA, I don't know if we've gotten them in here yet or not, but you can't breathe up there. I drove past, Kim's got horses and dogs. I drove past there many, many, many times. You can't even breathe, even when your windows are up. You can't breathe. We almost, my husband Ira and I were passing, and they came out, what is that road called, Kim? I don't know, your road coming out. So we were on Unicoi Drive going towards Johnson City, and they didn't even stop, didn't even slow down for the stop sign, just came right on out, and going approximately 50 to 60 miles an hour, fully loaded, uncovered. And we don't have the police force, I know that, to do all these things, but this is something that is beyond anything people should have to endure. And I've heard the saying about the noise ordinance, well, that just pits neighbor against neighbor. Well, number one, when your neighbor is not really your neighbor, they're just people passing through, and they do anything that they want to do, there's no controlling that. And I know all of you don't have Airbnbs next door. I certainly would have stopped it had I known it was coming my way. I would have bought the property. But we are where we are, and so just beware, because it's growing. Our community's growing, and we're not growing to meet the needs. All of the we've lived a certain way. I'm all for that. I don't want change at all either in that direction, where we have government bodies trying to tell people what to do. But my goodness, we need some protection. We need some help. And when you don't know where to go, and then, you know, the first thing you get is, do you have noise ordinance? No, we don't. Do you have any leverage whatsoever? And in my mind, a noise ordinance is only as good as just going there talking to them and saying, hey, I need you to stop this. There is a noise ordinance in the town. We need you to be aware of your neighbors and what you're doing. Not just me, it's the people all around. The whole North End is hit hard, and I'm on the North End. And so I know the people down in the middle aren't feeling the pain that we're feeling, but it's terrible. I can tell you that. So I just had to speak my mind, and I totally agree with Kim and Diane and Richard, and I certainly hope we can do something to help us out here, because I'm 6 months into it, and I can tell you, I mean, my property is devastated. The laws, the devalue, there are no words for how bad it is there. And it's getting worse. So, yeah, the shaking, the windows rattling, it's horrible, and it's constant. So, that's me. Thank you for letting me say it.
Yes. Okay,
My name's Jamie Hirsch. My wife and I live in the Springtime neighborhood. And I appreciate everybody's viewpoints, pros and cons about an ordinance. What I want to speak to everybody about today is kind of what people have been bringing up about neighbors not really being neighborly. So we've been in our house about 4 years. Our neighbors moved in about 3 years ago. And they brought with them a bunch of barking dogs and, roosters and chickens and pianos and singing and radios and stuff like that. After about a year, we talked to them about their barking dogs, which were unregulated. And since that time, they've just unleashed a torrent of noise harassment against us. They'll play their music 24 hours a day. Sometimes they'll play the same song on repeat for like 13 hours a day. They start about 6:30 in the morning playing talk radio. This is during the winter. This is all months of the year. They open up their top windows and then blast the sound down at us. And anytime that we've asked them, please to stop, they've intensified their harassment. So, they'll turn the music louder, they'll let their dogs work more, they beat the horns in front of our house. This is all noise related, so when we call the police, rightly so, sometimes the police will say, well, there's no noise ordinance, there's nothing we can do at all. And we're like, this is not normal rock and roll, this is not normal dog barking, this is, night and day harassment. And, so now our neighbors have gotten smarter, they've started to turn off the music at like 9 o'clock at night and not starting it up until sunrise. So what happens is, during the day, we're assaulted, we can't go out in our own yards, we can't, and here's the other thing, when it's quiet, and we go outside and they see us, they turn the music on, or let the dogs start barking. So it's like very targeted. And, there's been nothing that the law enforcement or the town administration could do, because, when we talk to past city administration, or the sheriff, or, chief of police, they just say, there's nothing we could do, you just need to record this. So we've been recording for 3 years now, waiting for this moment, really. We have all the video, audio evidence that we need, kind of like a seismograph things. I mean, we're ready for this noise ordinance. It has nothing to do with fireworks. I mean, we shoot guns in our backyard too. We shoot off fireworks. I got grandkids and kids born in this area. We're having a good time living in a country neighborhood. But I mean, we're under assault, and there's nothing that we can do. And it's taken all that we possibly been able to do to hold back from this retaliating against these people. And this is just sort of the position that we're in. It's just frustrating. It's scary. We feel threatened, and other than attacking them or retaliating, our only option is to rely on this board and the city to help the town to help us enforce it. So I appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir, which house is it?
Now, is it the one right beside of you or the one in front of you?
Just directly across from,
216?
yes, sir.
It's got the fence with the, says dogs.
Yes, sir.
Maybe they, I mean, I'm not disputing your word or nothing. I mean, I was out there twice this morning, once about 8:30 and about 11:30. They must play it at different times. And I was out there Saturday morning, I didn't hear anything. I stopped right in front of it.
I appreciate you doing something like that.
I mean, I guess you're the house, are you in the brick house or are you in the house that's got the point on the roof?
Here's the thing, sir, you know, the harassment, and I don't want to get into it, it's not the time or place, but, you know, this harassment going on so long, and sometimes we have altercations, we have blow-ups, yell at each other. And so the other day, police had to be called because, they came onto our property to start messing with their mailbox, which is their mailbox, I understand, but it's on our property, and we didn't really know what their intentions were, so we then got into a confrontation, police came, and ever since that time, they haven't been playing the music because, you know, after the product's gone, things get quiet for a few days. So, you know, come out again in a week or so, or let us, you know, stop by and show you some videos. I mean, it's insane. You just wouldn't even believe if you could sit down with us and listen to this. But thank you for your time to check that out.
Yeah.
Seth, do we have a ordinance against dogs barking?
There is a current ordinance, regarding dogs being off leash, and there's an ordinance, in the same ordinance, it talks about, dog barking. So that is something that's potentially enforceable.
Thank you for bringing it up. I appreciate it. It's working, dog ordinance. We have tried for years. That's how this altercation started. When they first moved in, we were friendly. After about a year of the dogs barking unregulated, we said something to them, and that's how this all got started. But in that ramp up, we then also contacted the police, and they said that, you know, this is a matter for the animal control department. So we contacted them. They said, you know, if dogs aren't running loose, then there's nothing we can do. We said this says barking ordinance, not running loose ordinance. So they said make a 20-minute recording. So we started recording. I got all the 20-minute videos of dogs barking if you want. I got videos of them playing the same song for 13 hours. I got videos of them, I mean, you name it. So thank you again for bringing that up as a potential solution. But, you know, the sheriff had told us, you know, they can't enforce it. And what the animal control office told us was record and send it to us in a link, and we'll send it off to somebody we don't know who it goes to, and they'll get back to you. So I was like, so, you know, we've just been really frustrated for a number of years, and really it comes down to a noise ordinance, not a firework ordinance, not a rock and roll ordinance, not a, you know, chickens in the yard ordinance. It's somebody's harassing you with noise ordinance. I mean, that's kind of what this gets to, whether it's an Airbnb, whether it's an industry, or whether it's your neighbors. I mean, so I appreciate you letting me know. Thank you. Thanks for all your help.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Got a quick question. Do we have a disturbing the peace?
Okay, Bob, step up to the microphone if you don't care.
Do we have a disturbing the peace type of ordinance that can come, you know, generally cover when a police officer goes up there and he hears that, or he's disturbing the peace? That's not.
There's a state law in place saying that. There's a state law in place. You can't carry on lawful activities if it's excessive noise. There's a state law in place. TCA 39-17-305. State law.
What is that, Adam?
39, TCA 39-17-305.
And what does that say again?
Subsection B.
What exactly does that speak to?
Unlawful activities, excessive noise. That's not speaking.
Unlawful activity?
No law.
Law.
I'm not speaking on why I'm talking about the dog barking.
I know what you're talking about.
All those 10 people shoot guns. That could be stopped with state law.
And I just have one more question for you. Is an Airbnb, is that a business that's in a residential neighborhood? It's not.
It is residential, yes,
Is
and
that zone for the Airbnb?
it doesn't have to be apparently in Tennessee, from what I understand.
That was
If there's any way to fight it, I'm trying, but I don't think it
If
can
it's
be.
a business, it's not zone business.
It's residential, yeah, it was turned into an Airbnb approximately 2 years ago.
I don't.
And they've come in and done tremendous property destruction, harassing the poor old animals. I know nobody's interested in animals around here, but I have rescue donkeys, and they're old. And they spent the whole winter out due to the tornado. I mean, it's just bad around here. But besides that, you can say, please don't. You know, you're harassing and they're running and they're terrified. Nobody
My
cares.
question was, is an Airbnb a commercial business?
It is a commercial
running out
business.
In a residential neighborhood?
It is in a residential
Yeah,
neighborhood,
yes.
but it is
Yeah.
allowed in Tennessee. As a matter of fact, Tennessee is trying to, I was approached to try to take one of my houses and turn it into an Airbnb, and I absolutely refused to do that. But, I mean, it makes some money, but, the reason for that is you're bringing a lot of outsiders in. And from what I understand, and I could be wrong, so nobody hold me to it, but there's supposed to be about like a 10-day limit for it. No more than 7 to 10 people in particular Airbnb. I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule. Tennessee has some unique, I think this is all new to us in terms of those kinds of things. They're very much promoting that simply because, you know, that's just bringing revenue into the area. And so I totally get the idea behind it. It's just that, well, I can tell you, my barn has been lasered, the old barn that I used to have. It was almost burned to the ground. Had to have the police out there for that because they stood there. They took the fencing down, came through and created 6-foot trenches. And I know y'all are here for other reasons. I'm sorry I got lost on that. But I mean, it is absolute, when y'all talk about harassment, it's beyond harassment. There's no joy, there's no tranquility, there's no peace. And that's the reason I've lived up there since 1994 on that top of the mountain, enduring this peaceful, beautiful area. And it's nothing like that anymore. It's just a nightmare.
One more question I have for you is, do you know the name of those red trucks that are on the side of those red trucks?
I was told by the owner of the Airbnb that they were railroad trucks.
They're R.J. Corman.
You should call R.J. Corman and talk to their corporate office and say, hey, your guys are out here, they're renting this Airbnb, I'm sure R.J. Corman is paying for it. They need to stop what they're doing.
Mhm.
So let their headquarters know what's going on,
Mhm.
and then they stop.
Well, and I can't say that all of the shooting came from the people in the red trucks. I'm talking about two separate things. Them burning something chemical.
Well, that's wrong.
The shooting is right behind them on the same property, and that's because I heard through the grapevine, don't know for sure, that they're trying to turn it into a hunting lodge / rifle range. Rifle range, I mean, goodness gracious, the noise just goes on and on and on and never
I
stops.
understand, I already want to go.
Yeah.
But you can call R.J. Corman, their headquarters, and say, listen, whatever they're doing over there, they have to stop.
Mhm.
It's chemical
Yeah.
stuff.
Is that railroad?
Yeah, it's a railroad contractor.
I know
course it
R.J.
is.
Corman, they do a lot of work with different.
Right. Well, as I said in 2 or 3 meetings past, we know what we are up against here, but we do have so many outsiders, and there's no regulation as to what they're running trucks, and they're running wide open, and yeah, they're rebuilding our community, and that's appreciated, but who is governing what they do, and how do we know where they're taking the materials and what they're pulling out and what they're burning there beside you, you know?
Well, maybe something that the attorney for this town can send a letter to R.J. Corman and say, hey, this is an issue with, yeah, and I'm sure R.J. Corman is paying for that Airbnb.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Then the other thing, I don't know if the police chief or somebody can answer, if they're trying to turn that into a rifle range hunting lodge club or anything, that has to go through the town, right?
It does, yes, it
That
does.
has to go through the town.
It does. I didn't say that they had done that. That's what I've heard.
No,
The reason the increase in people shooting, and again, I'm not talking about sitting out there getting ready for hunting season. I'm talking about automatic weapons that go on and on and on. And maybe they're hunting with automatic weapons, I don't know, but shouldn't be. So,
I don't know, on the R.J. Corman thing, maybe their headquarters needs to know what's going on. And that would end.
thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Is there anyone else? Okay, we've got a representative from Summer Taylor.
Yes. Summer Taylor, I didn't come actually to address the board. I was asked to come here to listen to the concerns of the people, listen to the concerns of the board, take that back to Summers Taylor so they could try to address those concerns. If they're interested and always have been interested in being a good neighbor. So they've asked me to come and listen to the comments and concerns and bring that back to them. So that's why I'm here. I'm Tom Seeley and I represent Summers Taylor. That's why I came tonight.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Sailor, one thing, do you think that they would be interested in putting around the asphalt plant, putting a noise barrier?
I think that's something that we discussed before when we attempted to rezone that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something they, again, that's something y'all like to look into. I definitely take that back to them and see what we could do about buffers. We'd offered to do that before and actually move it back. And again, the town really refused our offer to do that by refusing to rezone the property behind that. So that was an issue before. We were attempting to move it away from the residences, move it away from the road, and we submitted a site plan that did have buffer zones in it. And so I don't think that was, when that was addressed, they refused that rezoning, and so it, again, put us in a position, the asphalt plant stayed where it currently exists. So we were trying to put in buffers and move it back away from the road and move it away from the residences. But be glad to take that back to them and talk about.
Yeah, if you could. What was your last name was?
Seeley, Seeley.
So let me just say to that right there, one of the reasons that didn't end up happening, and of course, me of all people was definitely for that, for it to move back. But it had to, that whole area had to be rezoned. So, you know, that went before the planning commission and that, big study, and that was all voted down. You know, I think I'm probably speak to this better than anybody, and I'm the one with the most to lose over there. You know, building some big barrier as far as some big concrete something and all that. You know, to me, that just screams even more industry. And what does that do to my property? What we had always looked at and what had been in prior notes back in August of 2006 is that there would be barriers of all kinds of like trees, you know, like the fast growing pine trees, I don't know what they're called, some kind of sycamore. Bill Hyder actually put up 2 or 3. And when Summers and Taylor came, they actually, I talked to Grant, we talked about trees that, you know, the trees would take forever to grow. So he did put a fence. There is a tall board fence which runs along the area of my house. You know, what has happened recently with like the whole mountain being moved, of course, that was lots of trees. But, you know, I'm just saying as a person that has a lot to lose, some kind of big concrete barrier or something that you might see out on the interstate or whatever.
I was thinking about.
I don't really feel like that's gonna really, that would even stop the noise and all that, because there's so many different cut up areas there that, you know, I can't even imagine how that would work. And truthfully, with me out there with the one whose lost a property value is the very most of anybody sitting in here, I would never move for that versus trees. You're in the country, you're in a residential area. I don't want something that looks like that we just came in off the interstate. You know, the trees, and Grant has always been really good about keeping a barrier of trees. There's trees on Mr. Anderson's property around my property. You know, so if we're looking at some kind of barrier, I mean, I would hope it would be something that was more natural and something that was just more of those type of sycamore trees that grow really fast, you know, that would hide a little bit more. And plus those being somebody who's lived there and has so many of those trees coming up the side of it, it really blocks the dust and stuff really more than a concrete barrier, because I've had it all out there. I've had concrete barriers, I've had pine trees, I've had everything over the last 30 years. You know, and the trees do help engulf and soak up a whole lot of the pollution and the asphalt and all the stuff that comes off of it. So anyway, just throwing that out there.
Y'all have any other questions?
No, but anytime that you want to have a meeting, and discuss this or anything, we're wide open for it.
Yes, sir.
You know, because I mean, if we don't,
And I will.
you
say
know,
this,
if we don't communicate, we won't resolve it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And I'll say this, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Seaman did reach out to me last week when he became aware of the noise ordinance. You know, and we had a 45-minute conversation last week, and all that, so.
We're trying to open up that communication, and I'll take that back to Summers and Toad, see if we can address some of these concerns. And I'll relay to them what the concerns we brought for this board tonight.
Yes, sir.
Bob. This is the gentleman right here. Can you get back to the company that is running that, have them write those studies? And
that's part of the confusion. I don't think most of those are Summers Taylor PD. Most of those are, again, associated with the railroads and contractors who get hired by the railroads. I think that's part of the issue. And again,
I agree with you.
and so I think that issue, it's not really Summers Taylor.
It's just multiple trucks, but it's not, they're not marked Summers.
I mean, we actually have two problems there. You've got the problem with all these incoming from every place, Dutton trucks that are coming to the quarry. Okay, that doesn't have anything to do with the asphalt plant at Summers and Taylor at all, zero. So, I just kind of want to make that clear that that's a whole different thing.
I thought it was in the same name.
Yeah, that's not at all. There's two separate issues on both of those.
Okay. Do we have anybody here from Mark Marriott? Come on up here, sir.
I'm sorry I was late to the meeting, but, I just want to say, you know, we're here to listen as well, just like the Summers Taylor folks, actually Grant called me. Asked me if I would be present. You're very correct. These drivers are not our normal folks that do business in and out of the quarry, they're from all over the southeast. We communicated with the railroad folks and, you know, asked them, we've even asked them to come all the way up to exit 27 and around the back way instead of coming through Unicorn. Some of them do, some of them don't. You know, it's not a good answer, but they are contractors of the railroad and R.J. Corman and folks like that. So, you know, we're asking, we're begging, we're pleading, but we really don't have a lot of recourse other than to tell them, you know, we'll just shut the quarry down and go away. You know, it's kind of interesting that we're here because a lot of people in Unicorn, when we shut the quarry down, called and were disappointed because the tax revenue was going to disappear. And we shut the quarry down, you know, for a reason, because business levels were low. And just like this has happened to us before, you kind of forget what a quarry is. And when we shut it down, every time we start it up, we're starting back from scratch. People are going to feel vibration. We are blasted. Nobody's ever come up with a better way to turn big rocks into small rocks. So there will be some vibration. A typical blast lasts 1 second. So for 1 second, you will feel a little vibration in the ground. And I mean, that's just the facts of the matter. I can bring you all the science you want. But I think we're talking mostly about the trucks. I would just say we're begging, pleading, doing all we can, but I think this gentleman had the right answer. CSX, R.J. Corman, they're the ones that are bringing all these trucks in, you know, to load at the port. But if anybody's got ideas, we're all ears. But, you know, we opened the quarry for one reason. It's for your neighbors down south and early. I understand some minor inconveniences, but there's people down there that their lives have been changed forever. They can't access their properties, they can't access anything. And they have to have our material. So we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to reactivate an idle quarry because it's the best located, best situated, and it's the most cost effective for the taxpayers, as well as the people down there. So I just say we're not oblivious to the impacts that we have. But that quarry's been in operation, Kim, you probably know better than I do, but it's been in operation.
Well, and I've never had a real, and I will say, and you know, I mean, I can't fuss a whole lot about the quarry. I'm not a great fan of it, of course, who would be? It's right there in your backyard. But the quarry was there when I bought my property. So, you know, I've tried to be a good neighbor with the quarry as much as I can. Now, does anybody like those blasts? I mean, does anybody want their house completely shut off the water? We don't, but we all are here and we all are understand it. We all understand why. I think the only thing we're just truly asking is the issue of the trash, you know? I mean, not only are, you know, like Diane said, they line up 10, 12, 15, like I couldn't even get up my road one day and had to get out of my car and be like, hey guys, you're gonna have to move. You know, plus they're totally littering. They're throwing old tires, just whatever out of their truck, you know, they're getting out right in a residential neighborhood and, you know, we're just using the bathroom on the side of the road. I mean, you know, there's a whole lot more that goes into a lot of this, you know, because like Diane and Mr. Anderson said, you know, we're all country people. We love Unicorn County. We love the country way of living. We don't want ordinances. We don't want the government telling us what to do. But if you're a person who is truly affected by it on an everyday basis, then yeah, it's more now. I mean, it's harassing. It's not, you know, to the point of like, and all we're asking really, just tell them to, you know, slow down. Just tell them to get their trash up. Just tell them to be thoughtful that they're in a residential neighborhood and they are not out in an industrial workplace. That's all I think any of us are asking. You know, and don't come up through there. The Jake Break thing, it does completely. I mean, you know, it's terrible noise, you know, and like I said, I don't know what we're gonna do a whole lot about the noise. Unfortunately, all of us that live there, as far as the asphalt plant, you know, the trees, more trees would be great. Like I said, Summers and Taylors and Grant, I will say that nobody's gonna be in favor of that being beside your house, but they have been willing to try to come up with something to work with us. Most of the time, let me say most of the time, okay?
You know, and I've always argued the fact that they've got a little bit of road there where people live. And if they could just, you know, be respectful until they got down to Unicorn Drive, I mean, there they are. No red lights or nothing. You know what I mean? If they could just keep the racket down and the speed down. Do you have any idea of the time limit of the operations on that? Because I've had people ask that, you know, because right now, you know, they're trying to fix
the relief.
how long you'll be working the course.
I mean, it seems like this emergency stuff's gonna continue at least on review on the next. After that, we'll just have to see what business.
Okay, I mean, I didn't have an idea, and I've had a lot of people ask.
I mean, we have no set limit or time frame or plans to exit the quarry now, and we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to reactivate.
Do you think this new quarry down here is gonna relieve some of the pressure off this quarry?
I mean, he's certainly better situated to where the storm damage is. But
He's 5 miles closer.
yeah, I mean, from what I read and saw on the news, they were just getting started. And
Yeah.
if you think you can just turn a switch, ship and rock, I think he's gonna be a while. And if he's where I think he is, it's quite a climb to get up there to where the rock is.
Yeah, ain't no equipment up there. They're supposed to start blasting today, they said.
Did you give us your name?
I'm Jeff Farrell.
Okay.
I'm the vice president for this district, which we call the East Tennessee District.
Was it Jeff Farrell?
Farrell, Ferrell.
Your vice president?
Yes, sir. And I'm sorry I was late. I went to town hall.
I just have to say one thing in regards to you saying it's just a small vibration. I mean, I have to disagree with you on that.
I think it's all in Mr. Houston. So, yeah, to me, I've been around my whole life. If you're not used to blasting operation.
When you leave those rattle pretty good, that's a small vibration.
Well, along with that, there's a state law regulated. We have seismographs all around the quarry. We may have one or two close cameras. The readings are public knowledge. But I think you will find that the readings that we target and are blasting out are way below what is allowed by state.
But if you had it, that's the problem here.
We're probably, I mean, you may know better than I do, Mr. Anderson, but I'd say we're probably blasting twice a week.
Well, that doesn't make any difference. How come we collected blasting damage from Dynamo Bell blasting outfit back in 2003, before we took American Limestone, who owned it then? And the deal is, a few people on these quarries, you take it and you come in, which I know you work for Mark Perry Evans, to make a living. I understand that very well. But the game you all play is, you keep it 6 or 8 years, you do more damage and this and that and the other, and then bang, you're gone. You all come in or whoever. But let me ask you this. Did Summers Taylor buy 750,000 tons of loose rock from you all to start with? Either they did or one of their employees just flat lied to me, one. And then they bring in the outfit that's getting the rock out from over in Kentucky? Or is that your all's outfit?
I have no idea which one.
So,
But I'm the man who owns the property on both sides of that road, up through there, nearly to the tunnel. This Lynch owns the main part of it.
Yep.
The dust. I assume you all are gonna have 3 homes that we own washed down?
I'm not aware that we're responsible for dust.
Well, if you're not responsible for it, you're responsible for the property where the dust is coming from, because run the trucks are carrying out of there. True or false?
They're not our trucks, as I've said. They work for the railroad.
If you work
We
there-
simply load the trucks on our property when they leave. They take possession of the material at the scale, and then when they leave, they're
If you all weren't there, would the dust be there? Yes or no?
I don't know. I can't answer hypothetical questions.
Would you like me to take you on a tour tomorrow?
No, I'm down there frequently.
Well, I'll be more than glad to. I'll let my stuff
I'm
go.
down there frequently, and you're another one, of course. You've been there for a long time, you can work.
When I find the right lawyer, I promise you, we'll find out then.
We have been there before the quarry ever opened, before it was just a mountain.
Right here,
View.
this lady and I are the only 2 people that really has a gripe about the quarry. That young lady was there before the quarry. I was born in 45, and it's definite, I was there before the quarry. But no, the state bought off. Don't tell me they're not. Well, I can tell you this.
You have to listen to these accusations.
Well, it don't make no difference to me, Jim.
This is kind of.
No, you can't stand the truth, that's your problem.
Mr. Anderson, calm down. We're getting outside the agenda.
All right, I guess we need to get back.
Can I just say there was a whole lot of stuff said there?
Yeah.
Yes.
And 2, it's just like the motel thing, I'm just throwing this out there. The news came and they wanted the other side of the story. You know what I mean? I said, all they'd heard, the people that own the motel, that's all they'd heard. I said, if you don't hear the other side of the story, go ask the people that own houses and live there and drive by it every day. And that's what we're hearing here with the quarry and the paving. I mean, that's what we're hearing. That's what we need to hear. We need to hear both sides. But, you know, I told them about the motel. I don't drive by there every day. There's nobody right here that drives by there every day except the people that's doing the talking. You know, so they got to be respected, but we need to move on with this. Dan, have you got anything else to say?
Just a real quick comment to put some perspective on the numbers of trucks. My car was broke down at the restaurant down here in Newport. I bore waiting on tow truck. In 25 minutes, I counted 52 tow trucks. Came down the highway.
Is that into the quarry on 26?
It's on, one on 26.
I believe we've limited 30 a day now.
Yes, we're at 30 at Unicoi this quarter now. Speaking to the Jake Graving, I have spoken with, we'll say the truck broker who brings them in from everywhere.
I'll give credit where credit's due, but yes, the Jake Breaking has subsided considerably.
I will
And
get
the
them on the
trash.
trash and, continue on the back.
And we did recognize early on it was way too much truck traffic, so as you said, we've limited that, and you'll be glad to know. In the next probably 45 days, they're gonna be switching that all to rail. So we'll be loading rail cars instead of trucks for a period of time.
The last 2 months, the last 2 to 3 months, it's been a steady decline in truck traffic.
That's us, because, I mean, we can't take them in trucks inside of
It's been a steady decline. You notice it just about every week.
Good. We are trying to address this, but at the same time, we're trying to balance the needs of people that are much worse situation than you.
And we could be in that same position if those folks were in. We'd got that much rain here.
But as Summers and Taylor, we're willing to listen, Ms. Anderson and Kim, I'm willing to sit down with you anytime and discuss some things, but I'd like to keep it on a level, not what happened 55 years ago. Because, you know, I've been here since 2011, and to mention the sales, I was at USA, then I was Blue Water, and now I'm Martin Marietta. I'm not the one that keeps buying and selling, I'm just been on the company for that period of time. So, and I was the one who made the decision to shut it down the first time, so gave it peace for a little while. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we've already had citizens' comments. I guess we're pretty clear on that? Okay, we're good. Okay, all right. Okay, old business.
Well, I hear all you playing about the trucks. And I'm not trying to put you guys on the spot. Where's the enforcement? I was a police officer in Walker Island. Well, I was a police officer in Walker Island. When we were told to go out and enforce, we enforced. I'm not saying that that's not what they do.
They're down there all the time.
I mean, once we were out there and we started giving tickets, they're all in. Because these guys don't want to pay the ticket, because the driver pays the ticket.
I see Jeremy down there all.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm just asking where the enforcement is, because I don't go over there, and I don't know, but I do see the trucks. And I know some people complain about not having covers on it. And I could tell that they're doing more than 30 miles an hour through town. So, I mean, once you start issuing them tickets, and drivers got paid, then they're not gonna want to pay.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, old business. I guess that was old business. All right, let's see. We got ordinance 324. Yeah, that's to rezone Allison Woodward's property. This is the second reading on this. So,
Motion approved.
you hear a motion?
Second.
Alderman Day?
Yes.
Alderman Lemon?
Yes.
Alderman Phillips?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford?
Yes.
Mayor McInerney?
Yes. All right, move on. We got ordinance 326, and that is an ordinance. This is,
Mayor,
So you're supposed to have.
you've got a couple ordinances, including the one you just did, that requires a public hearing. So you just have to.
Oh, yeah.
Close the meeting and then post this meeting.
all right, make it close.
And does anybody have anything to public hearing?
Allison Woodward's public hearing.
I'm just asking. Public hearing, does anybody have
All I gotta do
any
is open a public hearing, ask you what I can hear on that ordinance. You can close it, then vote.
Okay,
comments?
all right, open meeting. Is that what we're supposed to do? Okay,
Does anybody have any comments?
has anybody got any comments on the rezone?
Close it back.
All right,
Close it back.
we're at thing out. Okay, close the meeting. Okay, what do we need to do now?
I guess we'll revote.
Yeah.
All right,
Alderman Day?
Yes.
Alderman Lemon?
Yes.
Alderman Phillips?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford?
Yes.
Mayor McInerney?
yes. All right, now let's move on. Okay, we got ordinance 327, and we got to close meeting. All right. And this is on what the town spends. Second reading on that. Daggone, y'all got me so confused, I don't know where I'm at. But that's okay. Okay. Second reading on all right, this is on purchase limits. What it was for the last 20 years, it's been $50 without the board, getting involved. And what we're gonna do, this second reading on this, we're gonna change this to $250 without the board having to do it. All right, can we vote on that?
Love the public hearing.
Anybody got anything to say?
You understand?
I'm gonna give this to you. All right, lady. All right, we ready?
We need a motion.
Need a motion.
Second. We're not always like this.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Alderman Day.
Yes.
Alderman Lemon.
Yes.
Alderman Phillips. Yes. Vice Mayor Radford.
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay. I'm having more fun than anybody. All right, now we got ordinance 327, and this is a slum ordinance. What it is, it's already a state law, is that correct? And what we're doing, we're just getting it into our books. And this is like, if you go to a place it's unfit to live in, safety hazard, fire hazard, anything like that. And that's what we're voting on here. So, has anybody got any comments?
It also establishes the process in which.
Do what, Tom?
It also establishes the process if somebody has.
Yeah.
Something, Jeremy can go out and totally goes off.
I'm Rebecca Cummings, I'm just around the corner. My question is not specific to this ordinance, but is there somewhere we can read these ordinances? Because I went online and I pulled out the agenda and you have the summary of the ordinance, but is there somewhere you also post the ordinances?
Yeah, you can, they get posted after approved. The summary is what's required to be posted ahead of time. But if you were to call town hall, if you were to read an ordinance and decide, hey, this is something I want more information about, call me at town hall and I can provide you with the proposed ordinance draft. And some people have asked for that for a few particular ordinances tonight, especially. And I'm accommodated to that. I can do that via email or hard
It
copy.
can't be posted online as draft ordinances or something sort of.
Well, it's a little complicated, the way Tennessee law reads on that. They have to be published to the website once the ordinance has passed its second reading. Resolutions require one reading, ordinances require two in the public hearing. Once it's passed the public hearing and the full ordinance becomes an ordinance, it goes on the website and the background of it goes back to the newspaper to be published. But anytime that you read on the website that there's an ordinance that you're really interested in the full detail of it, call me. That's what I'm there for.
Well, this agenda, as I understand, has changed today. How do we have
No.
the time?
It's not.
Okay.
That would be incorrect information. That the ordinance, the agenda has to be set 48 hours before the meeting. That's state law.
But
Nothing is,
48 hours before this is the weekend.
right.
So
This was
we
published
essentially
on
have-
Friday.
But we essentially have Monday to get an answer.
Yeah.
And that seems really fast.
No, I'm pretty quick on turnaround. And most times the packages and agenda don't take as long, but this was super lengthy. I had literally Friday around noon before people got me all of their information. And then just as soon as that happened, it was published. But you see it's a pretty hefty ordinance written agenda. So I had to wait on different moving pieces before I could gather it all together to be published. So there's, some of the things we could have probably held off on until April, but there's a couple things we wanted to get on here to get moving before our Strawberry Festival. So it required a delay, especially with all the tedious information on here. But that's kind of the nutshell answer to what you're asking. Yes, these overviews are pretty simple and they don't tell a whole lot of detail. But anytime you see one, and like I said, I try to get it posted typically before the Friday. The past two board meetings have been on Thursday nights. This is the first one's been on Monday in a while. So that also kind of slows down the process a little bit, but, yeah, that's all.
So I guess my question is, are you saying that state law says you can't post a draft thing? Or are you saying state law only requires you to post it after it's final?
I'm gonna defer that to the city attorney.
But the state law says you don't have to post the summary, the caption.
Right, I understand what you have to do. I'm asking, can you do better for us as citizens to let us, so give us half a chance? I'm just asking. I mean, or is the state law saying you cannot do that? I don't want.
Not, state law don't prohibit it, it just says this is all that the town's required to do. Of course,
So then my
I
request,
says there's two readings, so, there's a chance to see it. I know you said the turnaround was really short for this one, but this is the second reading, so it's already been through last month's, so that's usually when people kind of catch it is, it's all on the first reading, and they can contact city recorder and say, hey, before the second reading, I'd like to see the whole thing. It don't, typically don't change in between the first and the second reading, only if the board votes to make a change. So this one was actually heard last month, at first reading, and now it's up to the second, reading.
all right,
I have a question.
Okay, Judy.
Okay, just continuance of what she was talking about. So if you pass this resolution, so what if the slumlord doesn't abide by it? What's the repercussions to that person? See, we don't know this action. We just know it's a resolution about something, but it doesn't really tell us, do I need to go to meeting or not?
This one is an ordinance. This is different. This is the second reading. The resolution only has one reading.
Okay, but regardless, it's a rule. And I listened to the last meeting online, but I couldn't hear very well. And so what if somebody does something really bad and makes a mess? What you gonna do about it when you pass this? What does this say?
Exactly, pages of it.
Yeah, but can you just sum it up so we know if we like it or not? Without-
Todd did that last time pretty good at the board meeting, but I'll let him.
But again, I couldn't hear it. I was
Okay.
online your whole meeting and I could barely hear the online meeting.
Our microphone's still working.
Okay.
We are working to get the microphone fixed. I do apologize about that issue with the recording. They should be better for tonight's meeting and moving forward. They should be better overall.
And I don't think we've got anything in that that's not already stated.
No, it's a state law.
It just gives them something, the authority.
It gives our police.
To, you know, to-
But what's the authority, what I'm asking is, okay, they can do something about it, what is it they can do?
Well, it all depends on the seriousness of what it is. I mean, we'd be forced to clean up, we decided in municipal court, here we go, to the extreme.
See, I guess I just need to come down and get a request after if y'all vote on it, because I'm still not getting an answer. Like if you speed over 15 miles an hour, you get a certain kind of ticket, if you speed 50 miles an hour, you get another ticket.
Well, it comes all the way down to where they can actually take the property. They can put a
See,
lien
that's
on the
what- That's what
property.
I'm asking,
Yeah.
what's the repercussions?
Lien for expenses, sale of salvage goods.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm asking, because I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, it just passed the Tennessee, it just became law in January, so brand new, really, and it just, as soon as we heard about it, because of a particular property, that y'all know what I'm talking about, maybe give us some leverage.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I can't be more specific.
And it's all depending on the situation. Like your example of speeding, that's,
Yes.
speeding, that has something fine. This comes in from somebody not mowing their yard to excessive.
I guess is there different degrees of the punishment?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, because it says you can't post it until after y'all vote on it, so we don't know what we're questioning. I mean,
Well, it's unsafe living. It's places it's unfit for humans to live in.
Okay,
And it's ventilation, fire hazards, and, it varies. There's no real simple like $50 fine or anything. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
We have filed a petition letting the owner know what the action is that we're seeking, whether it's mow the yard, remove the junk vehicles, clean up the property, wherever it is. We have to file a petition and serve it on the owner, and then have a hearing on whether or not it's justified.
Well, see, I was unaware that there was a new law, and I guess I'll just have to wait, and if y'all vote on it, I'll go down and get him to run me a coffee. so I
Yeah,
can
that's
read
no
it out.
problem. I can do that anytime. Yeah, that's no
But
issue at
we
all.
shouldn't have to, we should, if you can type it in and put it in that set of documents, then you should be able to copy and paste and put it online for us to read, and then if I knew what it was, I probably would have stayed home tonight. You know what I'm saying?
But we want you here.
No, but I don't mean to be argumentative,
I see what you're saying.
but if you're gonna vote on something, let us know what it means.
Well, this is the second reading, you gotta remember that too.
Remember, I told you I watched it online and I couldn't hear it.
I know, but between the first and second, you should have came down to my office, I took care of this for you. We had your,
You know, I was planning on being here tonight and I figured I'd get a distinctive answer, but I did get one. I need to come to the office and get a copy. Thank you.
was there any reason why we should table this till next meeting?
Now, this is a state law, all we're doing is, the state law already sets the guidelines. We are amplifying this for a particular organization that's dragging their feet about doing something, at a particular property near a golf course. And it's been an issue for a long, long time, and we're just making an amplification of what the state law is, within the ordinance, where they can read it plain as day. If they don't take action, we can eventually take our own action. That's all we're doing
The
here.
main thing is unicorns change. You know what I mean? Used to, everybody looked out for each other, and it's not really happening that way anymore. You know, we've heard it here tonight, we hear it all the time. And anybody in here that really don't understand what all we do here. And this is just protection for people. And things are grandfathered in. But if you buy a dilapidated piece of property, then you will be held responsible to clean that property up. So, I mean, it's just really for everybody's protection. And I feel like Bob does. I don't want to be governed to death. Nobody does. And that's the reason we're real careful about what we're doing here. And this is already a state law. It just gives them the right, the wording to enforce it. You know, it's not like we're trying to, you know, pull the wool over anybody's eyes or anything, but I like your concern of that. I mean, that's the way we should be. That's what we're here for now.
Should I be happy for you to vote yes, or should I be mad if you're gonna vote no? I don't know, because I don't really know what it means until I read it. And-
Yeah.
And that's why,
it affects anything that you've got, Judy.
maybe I've got a
Well,
bad
can you
neighbor.
not go on and look online, and I'm just questioning.
No, I don't have,
No, you
no.
can't look up the Tennessee statute and the law on it and
I
go
read it, I didn't know it until he just said that. We didn't know that. See, I know, you know, I come to most of the meetings. And this is really sad what I'm going to say, but if our citizens don't come to the meetings, they really don't know what our rules are. And I don't know how you inform them, but maybe I'll have to be really informed on what I need to do here in this town, and
Yeah, we need to get involved. Well, do I hear a motion for vote?
Motion approved.
Second.
Alderman Day,
Yes.
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman Phillips,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford,
Yes.
Mayor McNamara.
Yes. Okay, do we move on now? Ordinance 328, and this is just a public hearing. It's an ordinance to set business of the regular meetings of the Unicoi Board and Alderman. And in some reason, we have to do this. Is that not correct? Just to get it to where it's established.
Right. It's
For our
essentially
time.
Know what, let's back our meeting, what the order of business is. just the structure and guidelines.
Is there anybody got any discussion on that or any questions about it? It's just really set, it's just making a schedule. You know, we've been doing the same thing forever, but there's some reason we have to do this. Okay, do I hear a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Alderman Day,
Yes.
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman Phillips,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford,
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on. We got the second reading. It's ordinance 329, and all this is for the time and the date of the meetings of the board and all. It's the second reading of it. Is there any discussion? Okay, motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Alderman Day,
Yes.
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman Phillips,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford,
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay, we got ordinance 330, and that's a second reading to rezone property on Honeycutt Road. That's for Jim and Danielle Spot. They want to change it from, they will change from R2 to agricultural. Any discussion on that? Motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Alderman Day,
Yes.
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman Phillips,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford,
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay, no unfinished business. All right, we got the Great American Cleanup Proclamation. And that okay. Proclamation of action for the greatest American cleanup. The people of the town of Unicoi are dedicated in enhancing and beautifying the cleanliness of their community, and we recognize the importance of preserving our environment and foresting citizens' pride among our citizens. All we acknowledge the transportation of the power of clean and green space to support and promote well-being of all people. And America's 250th anniversary on July the 4th, 2026 presents a historical opportunity for us to showcase our community for beautification. We, the town of Unicoi, do hereby proclaim our support for the proclamation and declaration of action, the best American cleanup. As such, we commit to do following annual basis. All right, this is on an annual basis. Number one, organize 3 new committee cleanups to inspire our citizens of all ages to work together for removal of litter from our streets, parks, waterways, and public spaces. Number 2, host 2, reduce, reuse, recycle, or beautification events each year, enhancing our community appearance through reduction of waste, public art, planting trees, flowers, creating, improved, or maintaining green spaces. Number 3, hold one event to celebrate our progress and achievements to help America look her best for the 250th year celebration. By declaring our support to this greatest American cleanup with Keep America Beautiful, we intend to make the town of Unicoi a shining example of environmental stewardship and community engagement as we work together to make our community cleaner, greater, more beautiful for the generations to come. And thank y'all. And I'm gonna sign this right now. Okay. Now we'll move on to something else. That's all we need to do on that. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. I've lost my place. Okay, let's see. Jake Breaks. I guess that's next one.
That's number 12, like number 12.
Here.
Oh, yeah, when did you sign that?
What am I at right there? What was we on?
When you just read that proclamation, when you just read the proclamation for next hearing.
Red Mark Trail. Ladies. Was that in the kitchen? Or what was that out? I'll be with you in a minute. Is that, let's see, the next thing is that,
That's right. That's what training certificates.
training. I don't think I know where it's at. Huh?
Amber's taking care of it for us.
Oh, okay, Amber, can do that. Okay, good deal.
So y'all participated in the MCAS training, and they sent these wonderful certificates that I wanted to hand out to you. And in front of all the town citizens, you all are doing a wonderful job under that, so thank you very much. They're very beautiful, hanging up in your office.
Thank you. Hey, do you want to explain what that is, Amber, now or later?
Sure, so the MTAS or training certificate or the proclamation? The MTAS training certificate that I just handed you is the elected leaders training. So essentially what that is once a year or when there's newly elected members, MTAS, which is the Municipal Technical Advisory Service out of Knoxville, hosts trainings for them so that they know things like how to set the agenda and Robert's Rules of Orders for how to hold a meeting. And they learn so much more than that in the meeting. I was not part of it. I just know that's some of what they do. Barely begin to touch on it. So the trainings that they did are very beneficial for them to help serve you all better.
Okay, thank you, Amber. And anybody that been in that kitchen, they need to go through that kitchen. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? And we got this little gal they hired there today, got on with her, it's a grant. Don't cost town anything. And they're gonna be working over our training people, and it's a good thing. Okay. We're gonna have it where people know where our kitchen's at. All right, let's see. Now we got a resolution of town board mayor. All right, this is part of the Massachusetts.
Hey, before that, you missed one spot there where we're gonna officially select it.
What did I miss?
Right here, Kelly. After the training certificate. This page right here.
That ain't what I got.
Safety.
I got from the cleanup. Training certificate. Office. Official. Okay, we got, no, that's on that. Okay, town open board, Massachusetts.
Yep, it's Massachusetts.
Okay, I've got that in there, but what we got is, we need to vote on that, or we just, we do?
You gotta vote to accept, it's not a resolution or anything like that, I've talked to Todd about this is where, we tentatively accepted the Massachusetts Avenue bid.
Yeah,
And so now we're gonna formally bid to accept that,
okay,
formally, vote to accept the bid.
yeah, so we got a bid on Massachusetts, it's 1.16 something, 1.1, let's see, $1,135,200, $230. Okay. We got this bid and just got a little bit more paperwork to do, and then we're gonna get started on that. It's a 120-day thing. That's supposed to have it done in 120 days. It's all been studied. Everything's lined up. We rode down the road with contractors, owner of the company. I was really impressed with the guy. Stop the truck. Get out. He said the road looks different when you get out than it does in the truck. I mean, I'm impressed with it. All right, now what do we need to do on that?
Just a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion approved.
Second.
Alderman Day,
Yes.
Alderman Lemon,
Yeah.
Alderman Phillips,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford,
Yes,
Mayor McInerney.
Yes.
and we might want to add to that goes to Tommy's, we've got the
It
contract
goes to
on it.
American.
So that's what it is for the Tommy
Yes,
paving, okay,
yes, yeah, that's the blacktop portion of American Environmental that does the rest of
okay.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes, sir.
You know, this goes way back.
Do what, Judy?
The financing on this goes way back, and I remember numbers. The grant was for plus or minus 700,000, and we had that money from the government, so we're not having to dip into our
No.
general funds. We've got money set aside to do this, right?
Yeah, it was what, 640?
Yeah, I'll get into the specific dollar amount when I get my reports just a little bit.
It's real close.
Yeah.
So
The
if they don't
town-
ask, I know people's gonna ask me about it. I know we're.
Yeah.
So for the town's unappropriated funds, we're looking at around $70,000 out of pocket. We spent between the approval of the Massachusetts Avenue project and the commencement here, the town previously spent some money on different projects from those funds that was once set aside for Massachusetts Avenue. It was reallocated, last year at some point. So we're not gonna be at a detriment or anything like that. We've invested funds, and so these are gonna be some CDs that came due that we're using to pay for the rest of that balance. So it's not gonna adversely affect our budget or anything like that. It's just $72,000 roughly is gonna come directly from our town funds rather than grants. The rest is grant covered and funds we already budgeted for.
The grant money, at one time, the grant money and the ARPA money was set aside.
Yes.
Would be real close. to the
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, we're supposed to have 50,000 from urban utilities,
So that'll get,
but it's gonna be really close, yeah. And that's the reason we bid it out 3 times. We went up to rebid 3
because
times.
everybody's been telling me, oh, they'll never get it done for that, and I'm like, you gotta give them a chance to see what they get, you know?
And we kept working on that instead of just putting it online. We got on the phones there and contacted everybody and ended up, so it's all good on that. And, we're happy with it. And we get this one big thing done, then we can move on with other projects. We move on with other roads, ditches, whatever. But we're gonna try to get these things took care of. Okay, what do we need to do?
Move on to the new business.
All right, new business, we got a
Yeah, you already voted.
did you vote?
We got it, Tom.
I've even got you confused, eh? All right, we got a resolution here at 367, and what this does, this is working with the Massachusetts project. And we got a thing where we're going to the County Highway Department, Terry Hayes. We're gonna be replacing some tiles down Massachusetts. We need to do this before we get to the main road, and that's what we're going to vote on. So do I hear a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Alderman Day,
Yes.
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman Phillips,
Yes.
Alderman Radford,
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay, we've got 368. Does anybody need to take a break? We got resolution 368, and what this is where we've been using our facility up here on nonprofit. And there's a couple of them that's really been wiring it out, and we're getting a lot of wire and tire on the place. What we're doing is we're bringing up now $60 for a half a day and $100 for a full day. And we felt like that was fair. And since the Ruatan Club put like $30,000 in this room, they're going to be exempt from this. So is there any discussion on this? I mean, does anybody feel like that's not fair? You good? Okay. I hear a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Alderman Day,
Yes.
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman Phillips,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford,
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay, now we're coming to one. And my Swanee, I believe this is going to take a whole lot more study than what we've done. A whole lot more insight. I mean, we've had people here. I appreciate everybody being here. That's what we need to do. Everybody needs to be here. Okay, so what we're coming up now is 331. This is on a noise ordinance. Do I hear a motion?
Well, will there be any discussion? Will there be a reading? Isn't this the first reading of this noise ordinance? It doesn't reading mean you read it. I guess I may need a civics lesson here. Since it hasn't been published.
Yeah, we can definitely read that. If not, we want us to, if we want us to, the full ordinance.
And after you read it, I'm gonna comment.
And Molly's looking at it, it's pretty vague and generic. I mean, we've heard a lot tonight that sound like more pointed issues that, might need to be addressed, like noise harassment. That's a big deal. I heard citizens back there talking about the neighbor being harassed for the video, all that. That's a different ballgame altogether, it sounds like. But some of the other thing, that's another issue, so. You got this?
She's going to.
It's ordinance 2025-331, an ordinance of the town of Unicoi, Tennessee, Board of Mayor and Aldermen to establish a noise ordinance. Whereas the municipal court for the town of Unicoi does not regulate noise within the town limits, and whereas the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for the town of Unicoi is empowered to pass ordinance from time to time as needed, and whereas a previous ordinance of the town of Unicoi establishing noise regulations has failed, and whereas the town now wishes to address a noise ordinance. Now therefore be it ordained by the town of Unicoi, Tennessee as follows. Section 1, Title 11, Chapter 2 of the Unicoi Municipal Code is hereby created by adding the following regulations. 11-202 Anti-Noise Regulations. Subject to the provisions of this section, the creating of an unreasonably loud, disturbing, and unnecessary noise is prohibited. Noise of such character, intensely, or duration as to be determined to the life or health of any individual or in disturbance of the public peace and welfare is prohibited. 1. Miscellaneous prohibited noise enumerated. The following acts, among others, are declared to be loud, disturbing, and unnecessary noise in violation of this section, but the enumeration shall not be deemed to be exclusive, namely, A, radios, etc., the playing of any radio or any useful instrument or sound device, including but not limited to loudspeakers or other devices for reproduction of amplification of sound, either independently of or in connection with the motion pictures, radio, or television, in such a matter of which such volume, particularly during the hours between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m., and to annoy or disturb the quiet, comfort, or respond of persons in any office or hospital or any dwelling, hotel, or other types of residence, or any other person in the vicinity. B, yelling, shouting, and so forth. Shouting, yelling, whistling, or singing on the public streets, particularly between the hours of 8 p.m. and 8 a.m., or at any time or place, so as to annoy or disturb the quiet, comfort, or repose of any persons in any hospital, dwelling, hotel, or other types of residence, or of any person in the vicinity. C, pets. The keeping of any animal, bird, or fowl which is causing frequent or long continuous noise shall disturb the comfort of repose of any person in the vicinity. D, use of vehicle. The use of any automobile, motorcycle, truck, or vehicle so out of repair, so loaded, or is in such manner as to cause loud and unnecessary grating, grinding, rattling, or other noise. E, blowing whistles. The blowing of any steam whistle attached to any stationary boiler except to give notice of the time to begin or stop work, or as a warning of fire or danger, or upon request of proper municipal authorities. F, exhaust discharge. To discharge into the open air the exhaust of any steam engine, stationary, internal combustion engine, motor vehicle, or boat engine, except through a muffler or other device which will effectively prevent loud or explosive noise therefore from. G, building operations. The erection, including excavation, demolition, alteration, or repair of any building in any residential area or section of the construction or repair of streets and highways in any residential area or section or other between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on weekdays, except in case of urgent necessity in the interest of public health and safety, and then only with a permit from the building inspector granted for a period while the emergency continues, not to exceed 30 days. If the building inspector should determine that the public health and safety will not be impaired by the erection, demolition, alteration, or repair of any building or the excavation of streets and highways between the hours of 8 p.m. and 8 a.m., and if he shall further determine that loss or inconvenience would result to any part in interest through delay, he may grant permission for such work to be done between the hours of 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. upon application being made at the time the permit for the work is awarded or during the process of the work. H, noises near schools, hospitals, churches, etc. The creation of any excess noise on any street adjacent to any hospital or adjacent to any school, institution of learning, church, or court while the same is in session. I, loading and unloading operations. The creation of any loud and excessive noise in connection with the loading or unloading of any vehicle or the opening and destruction of bales, boxes, crates, and other containers. J, noises to attract attention. The use of any drum, loudspeaker, or other instrument or device emitting noise for the purpose of attracting attention to any performance, show, or sale or display of merchandise. K, loudspeakers and amplifiers on vehicles. The use of the mechanical loudspeakers or amplifiers on trucks or other moving or standing vehicles for advertising, or other purposes. 11-203 exceptions. 1, emergency construction, repair, paving, demolition, or alteration of the street or building. Permission of the mayor shall be proof that such emergency exists. 2, activities of municipal, county, state, or federal government agencies and emergency activities of public utilities when they are seeking to provide electricity, water, or other public utility services and the public health, safety, or welfare are involved. 3, warning devices on authorized emergency vehicles and on vehicles used for traffic safety or emergency response purposes. 4, attendant on-site noise connected with the actual performance of the sporting event, parades, auctions, fair, and festivals hosted by the city or as permitted under Section 6. 5, sounds created by the operation of railroad equipment. 6, the city recorder, upon proper application and for good cause shown, may grant additional exceptions for the provisions of this section. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect from and after the first passage, the public welfare requiring it.
Since we've had so much discussion, I make a motion that we table it so we can clear up some of the unnecessary things there. It's quite lengthy, as you heard. There are some things that probably need to be omitted and some things definitely need to be added, in my opinion. So I make a motion to table it.
I did have one question in reading through that. I didn't hear anything in there about any penalties. Are there any defined penalties if somebody violates the age rules? What is the enforcement mechanism?
It would be a fine,
Yeah.
a fine, yeah.
Should that be specified?
That's specified in another section of our code. Because any violation of a municipal ordinance carries a punishment of $50 fine. So there's no reason to specify one for that. It's already covered in one of the. And I will say this, I looked at about 22 different municipalities, some local, some similar size. A lot of ordinances had sound reading decibel levels, some for daytime, some for nighttime. Some had, 50 feet from property line. If you could hear it from that distance, it was a violation. A lot of the ones that had time restrictions had like 10 or 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. The one that you're looking at is very similar to what Irwin has, with the exception of the exemptions. That's a little different because we have a little different. We host the Strawberry Festival, we host the Freedom Fest, so I did some of that for town-sponsored reasons. Of course, you have to allow, like TDOT, if they're going to pave the interstate, typically they do that at night. So there's got to be some exemptions for that type of work, and anything that's an emergency or anything that Seth would deem necessary.
Thank you, Todd.
We have a motion to table.
Yes, and I guess before we probably go on, the intensity and duration are of course going to be an issue. And so if somebody got a $50 fine, then it moves beyond that, and definitely there'll have to be something in place as to how to move forward with that. This is just kind of just getting started with it. So those other things would have to be discussed within the board. We have a work session coming up. We've got a lot of territory to cover, and I think we've heard basically from the north side, and I think we can see clearly where the dividing line is, and I totally understand. But I do ask you to, for the BMA and the voting, that we do table it, but I ask you to really think about those of us who are out there on voting town, because that's very different than in the middle. And so I like to do it. Is there a second to my motion to table, or we just want to go ahead and vote? I guess it's already,
We need to vote on that?
Well, we need a
There's no
second to
second,
table,
so
it. There's no second, and then we'll have to go ahead.
we'll have to go ahead and vote if there's no second.
So then we would need a motion to adopt the noise ordinance. That's right.
Well, I know how this is gonna go, but I make a motion, to adopt the noise ordinance. And I do think it needs some work. And I understand those of you who are opposed to it, but we need some clout too when we call police enforcement to come in. We need something to back us up. So I'm just adding that to it. But yes.
I live on the highway, and like, on my own property. What would be summertime coming, what would happen, like I had a family, like,
I
in
would,
my yard?
yeah, I would assume nothing would happen. That's common sense stuff. We've already discussed that, and I think that's really and truly how we all live here in the South or in the mountains. I don't think that any reasonable person or a police officer would come and do anything with somebody playing in the pool, yelling and carrying on. That's certainly, we've had a long discussion about the issues on this side of town and what's going on there. So again, I'm a lone soldier here and I recognize that, but I just have to speak for it. I mean, I really do.
What about businesses being located right next to your property?
Yeah. Okay. That's, we need to, so our motion failed. I shouldn't be speaking, but my motion to table it and to try to really hone in on what needs to be addressed from what we've heard tonight. And then come back to the table and revote. So I don't think that's, well, I know we didn't get a second, so we're done.
And I'll say this, urge the board to do what you said.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It's been many years. It's a long, hard fight. It's not going to happen.
And I didn't have much guidance, on this other than the 8 to 8. So that's why I went to some different municipalities. Because my recommendation would be to have a workshop, but.
That's called tabling, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm going
Yeah.
for. Let us sit down and discuss this and get it to a point where it does meet at least address what we've heard tonight. And I'm not trying to push my thoughts on anybody. This is something I've fought for as long as I've lived here, simply because there are good neighbors and there are neighbors that are not so willing to abide by anything. They don't care what they're doing to you. And so, and I'm sorry to keep speaking. I know everybody's ready to go home. But anyway, I feel very strongly about it, and I don't want somebody coming to my house saying, "Oh, you're out on the front porch doing chants or singing or whatever." I mean, I think you have to use common sense there. And the police aren't going to go and do anything about that, and I wouldn't anticipate anybody's going to report that. Sorry.
$50 fine.
Right. Okay, I'm through talking.
If you don't have a way of measurement of your noise levels, how will you be able, who's going to decide when it's reached the level of violation?
I think a lot of times they have a noise thing where they can do that, and I've heard some people have taken it to court and they can beat it because they say, they'll tell the police officer, well, you have to prove, or did you have a monitor showing that I'm making that kind of sound? Are you familiar with that, Todd?
Yeah, and that's why, some municipalities have a sound decibel level. I think Johnson City has one, but Irwin, they don't measure it by sound.
No, most smaller towns don't, simply because we're not equipped for everybody to have that kind of monitoring system going on in the property. Yes, sir.
Well, I just want to say something about the situation that I'm talking about specifically. These neighbors are older neighbors than us, so they're not necessarily blasting Motley Crue at 100 decibels. They're blasting Perry Como at about 50 decibels. And so it's not that the music's so loud and overpowering, it's just, well, you kind of listen to Perry Como for a second,
I love that.
Well, actually, Some of the music is not so bad, but.
Yeah, that's voice harassment.
That's what I'm saying, it's like, the volume sometimes with the decibel reading is, kind of affected, in the context of some situations.
Well, I'm through talking, I know y'all want to go home. so I've got nothing else to say. Huh? We got nothing on the table.
Did you want to ask for a second to table the motion for?
I would like a second to table the motion and let us discuss it in a work session more in detail. Anybody will do that?
Motion dies.
Well, I'd say we still gotta work on
It's done, it's done. It's denied.
it. It ain't forgot about. It's not forgot about.
So what's gonna happen?
So you approve it as is.
You have a motion to approve if you want to go on to the second reading next month. You don't have a motion to approve, then
It dies on the
it's
floor.
basically dies on the floor.
So you're chilling it rather than talking about it more? I mean, I don't understand it. Silence, I guess, noise ordinance, everyone here.
I will respond to that, I said I'd be quiet, but yes, they are killing it. It won't be discussed.
Well, can I just say something? I mean, so, I've told you about our situation and how we've been waiting for this time. And, the only thing holding us back from our own noise retaliation, and I'm talking about, we're going to tear that neighborhood to pieces, is this day. So, if you don't go forward with this and if you don't discuss it, then I've already got a speaker chosen, that.
Can you step up to the microphone?
Yes, sir, I'll be glad. Here's the thing, if you're not gonna take this seriously, then neighbors are gonna have to start turning on neighbors because, the only choice I have, if you say no, there's not gonna be any enforcement, is I'm just gonna have to go scorch earth on these neighbors. Because I've put up with this for 3 years, my health has suffered, can't play with my grandkids outdoors, my peaceful enjoyment of my property has been disrupted. And I'm gonna make these people's life living hell. I'm gonna just do it. And, you're gonna get lots of calls from the police to my house. They're gonna come because the noise is gonna be so loud, so obtrusive. And guess what? No noise ordinance. So, that's what you're sealing into effect here. And I'll order that speaker tomorrow. I guess I'll see y'all in the coming weeks. And that's what's gonna happen. I appreciate your time and thought, but it doesn't make any sense to me why you got all this complaints from the public, but yet you won't even talk about it. Not only I understand, don't approve it, that's great, and maybe people aren't in favor, but you're saying you won't even talk about it, and citizens are coming here to tell you to talk about it. It's a need from the community. You're turning down a need from the community, right? And it's not even a need for we're not saying you must pass this ordinance, they said talk about it. And we didn't even talk about it. I just don't understand. Maybe they understand, I don't understand, so could you explain it to us?
I will explain mine. I can speak for it. So while you have heard a lot of conversation today, I've heard it for a week and a half. And what I've heard the last week and a half is very anti-this. So I understand that you all have heard several people who spoke passionately, and I very much love what y'all came and did, but you gotta remember, I've been listening to you for 2 weeks now.
I've been listening to it for years.
Yes, so there's more.
And what I've listened to is opposite of what you're saying.
Well, yeah, passion people come out, right, the anti and the pro, right, so they have people on both sides. We live in an area where rights are important and ordinances maybe are viewed negatively. But, I would just ask you to put yourself in the positions of some of the people that have spoken tonight, whether they're passionate about it or not. We've been affected physically, mentally, emotionally, our quiet time, our family time is being disrupted, and, frankly, I thought I'd come and, sort of have people that were on our side. And so I'm a little disappointed, that people aren't stepping up for members of the community who are getting basically shafted all the time. But I understand your position, I appreciate your time, and I'm just gonna let you know what's gonna happen in my neighborhood. And, when the police get called, I'll just be like, well, you know what? The board and mayor are wrong, and they turn down the noise. So,
One did.
I'm saying, so you see, frequent so, yeah, that's all I got to say.
I'm gonna say something. I've had over 50 people I've talked to. Talked to a man this morning, and none of them, they live from Marlton all the way through the town of Unicoi. None of them are noise ordinance. We're on a slippery slope here, people. There's a petition to get rid of the town of Unicoi. Okay, you get a noise ordinance, that's fuel for the fire. Once the town's gone, if somebody wants to put a junkyard in front of your house, they own a piece of property, they'll do it. If they want to pile their trash up and never take it off, they'll do it. Because there's no ordinances in the county, there's no zoning in the county. People do whatever they want to do.
Well, that's our.
And then they're gonna have,
That's our
I'm not
point.
done, Debbie, then we're gonna have development. These developers have got a big target on Unicoi. And they wanna come here and they wanna build 8 houses to an acre. And they'll do it. There's nothing to stop them from it. Then you're gonna have all this overdevelopment. You're gonna have all the traffic. You're gonna have everything but your peace of mind. Then you won't never have no, you'll never be quiet. It'll be cars and you'll have people everywhere. So, yeah, if there's somebody bothering you folks out there, we need to do something, reword, set some legislation to do something about that. But a blanket noise ordinance that tells people that they can't go to work before 8 o'clock in the morning or after 8 p.m. at night, you might as well just be the death knell for this town. That's all they are to it. You tell them you can't shoot a gun, people say, oh, the rifle range is available. There's people that's moved in out there that's trying to get rid of the rifle range. So where does it end at?
Well, it ends with having some kind of, you're exactly right, and my argument leads right into what you're saying. We do need protection. What about those of us who are the victims of this? What about those of us, I don't know, 50 you talked to, I've talked to probably 100 that agree with what I'm saying. And all I asked of this board was that we reconsider and let us sit down and discuss rather than a flat no. Because if we just do that, I don't think we're meeting the needs of the whole town of Unicoi. I think we owe it to everyone, especially the people that spoke tonight. And I'm not, I mean, y'all already made up your mind, but I just think that we owe it to them. How can that be governing anything? I don't want government to come in and tell me anything to do on my property within reason. But if I'm out there disturbing my neighbor and causing tremendous problem, the peace and tranquility that we like in this community and we love about the mountains and the beauty, we don't have a leg to stand on. And you don't have anything. You don't have any protection. So, and I agree with what you said. I mean, absolutely, we are going to have problems when people move in. I've been saying that at multiple board meetings, and we have to get a handle on it because we've got outsiders from out of state moving in, changing things, and so if we don't have things in writing, just as this lady keeps suggesting to us, if we don't have a guideline to follow, then it will be anything. And we already have significant people moving in on us. It's not coming, it's here. And I'm very opposed, and if you read anything that I ever write, I'm very opposed to losing our town. We fought long and hard. My husband, who has now passed away, was one of the ones who was right on top of this, and we fought very hard to have our little town so that we would have protection from the ordinances and the rules and regulations from Unicoi County and Irwin, and also getting some help out here. And we have held our own. We've done really well since we became a town. But now we've grown, and we've grown beyond our quiet community where everybody that's a native to the community wants it to remain status quo. So do I, but that's not reality. The reality is we've got to get something in place to protect everyone. And having a noise ordinance is not some big scary monster. It doesn't mean somebody's going to come on your property and arrest you and do something unless you're just doing something outlandish, something out of the normal, and without having some kind of measurement level. I mean, I would think that's just common sense. And we can write it out. That's why we need to sit down at a work session and write out things that apply to the majority of people. And I'm sorry I said I would be quiet, but I mean, Charles, everything that you just said, I totally agree with. But I think we need a protector. We've got to protect ourselves against those moving in and those who are here. And I don't think, I agree. I think the people that have been raised here for many, many years are not going to really continue on with annoying their neighbors and doing bad things to their neighbors. But that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we've discussed the whole night in terms of the noise ordinance. So it's just disheartening to say we can't table something long enough to discuss
If we
it.
hadn't had the hurricane, we probably have this discussion with all of that.
I disagree with that because we have a lot of influx of outside people. And so they're gonna bring the things that they ran away from, many of them are bringing it with them. So we've got to stand strong and try to keep our community, keep the community that we want to be with normal law enforcement, normal ordinances, things that are not out there jumping at you. I don't want anybody to govern anything that I do, really, but sadly, we're in a world where we do have to have some things in place in order to protect ourselves. When you listen to it day in and day out, and there's just it doesn't go anywhere, and I apologize for interrupting you earlier. I thought there was a pause in what you were saying. I try not to be rude, but I know my time's up.
Well, I'd like to say, what y'all said here tonight has not fell on deaf ears. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we won't have a noise ordinance, but it needs to be simplified. Because I talked to a lot of people move in here, and people go, oh, people moved in here. I said, I know it, and you better listen to them. And not make this place what they moved from. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's down to the time where you respect your neighbors. We gotta get that point across. What's happened to you all? That's tragic. I mean, there's no sense in it. And we grew up where people respect their neighbors. They didn't need planning and zoning because somebody didn't build a hog pen right in somebody else's kitchen door. And that's what we gotta get back to. And that's our new law enforcement here, and everybody on this board understands that that's what we need to get to is respect. And everybody here has been respected. They've had their say so. And I'm glad you're here. A lot of mayors go, oh God, people gonna show up. I wish the place was packed full. That's what we're here for. And I don't want anybody to think that their trip here tonight was in vain. And it's just like you. We need to figure out something in your situation. And we need to figure out something in everybody's situation. But like I said, if we have a noise ordinance, it needs to be simplified. It don't need to be 3 pages.
That's what I just
or
said.
one to read through.
That was my second motion. That's why I made a motion to table it so that it could be simplified.
Well, just because we didn't table it, that ain't gonna sign we forgot about it. Or we're gonna forget it. I mean, we need to work on it.
If these folks right back here, the next time we're doing that, give us a call. We'll come out and we'll try to reason with those folks and find the solution to the problem and see what's going on, okay?
Yeah, we appreciate that, we don't necessarily want personalized attention, given what we say.
Well, no, it's not personalized attention. We want to find out what the issue is with why they're doing it. Maybe we can reason with them.
And let them know that somebody does care what's
reason
happening.
with them and see if we can straighten them out and see, maybe it's just maybe it's personality issues. You know, people hate people for various reasons. It don't take nothing to make them like.
The thing is, if they stopped today, there would never be anything. Like, we are never the ones to start it. We don't wake up and say, oh, we hate them, we're gonna irritate them today. We're either in silence or we're, there have been a few times that we played our music back, but immediately we're just like, we felt horrible because we feel like we're the neighbors. And so then we felt like we're disturbing other people. We try to play white noise. And they get offended and they turn the music up. And I think, this noise ordinance, it just seems to me that there's a lot of misconception about it. Like a gentleman earlier said, I don't want to get a police call me when I mow my yard. I just feel like people don't really understand. They just hear noise ordinance and they think, I'm losing my rights, and they don't really understand, you know, maybe not even take the time to read what it's about, but I think that there has to be a daytime distinction between everyday, just noises that come from families and harassment.
Well, see, this one was written from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Your problems happen from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Exactly, so that's why there are ordinances that have
It wouldn't
exceptions.
affect, it wouldn't
So
affect
yes,
you
you
all.
can do these things from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. until you're being excessive, until you're being consistent and, you know, harassing. And so these, you know, even daytime noise, like I said, there's a difference between just ordinary daytime noises and harassment. And so, you know, those are the things that will be in an ordinance to specify those things. Mowing your yard is not harassing a neighbor, you know, or anything that you do during the day. It's just that consistent, you know,
You'd
harassing
be surprised,
neighbor.
when
And so, you know, I
people mow their
understand.
yard in the dark, and they complain
Sure,
about
nobody
it.
does that. I mean, I know.
But I think Charles had a good idea. When this starts up again, call us. Okay, we'll see if we can't, you know, get to the root of it. Yes, sir.
Let's see how they struggle with it. Whether that's statute being said. Let's have the police law, whether that statute, again, that your neighbor say, this is the statute in the state of Tennessee, you're in violation.
And I think that would fall under disturbing the
They
peace.
harass us and then they call the police on us and accuse us of threatening them. We've never left our property anytime we've ever engaged in them. They stalked us on our walk a few weeks ago. I mean, I have on video, they were recording us. She called up to us. They're talking about the NRA, how big they're members of the NRA.
Well, I think they need to understand that there's more people involved than just you two, okay?
More harassment.
Well, I understand there are more people involved, people have truck noise, people have Airbnb noise, there might be, so I guess I'm not really sure what you're gonna.
In this particular case, are you authorized, to uphold that state law of keeping the peace? So that if they do call, saying that their peace is being disturbed, by some targeted harassment, what can you do to stop it?
Well, from what I've heard the statute you're talking about, it's gonna be committed in a public place, am I right about that, Paul?
I mean, there's only comment, there's other statutes that may apply,
Public place, right?
but as far as conservative peace, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fact specific, so, you know, you still have, maybe not that statute, but other statutes that may apply. I don't know about.
Yeah, we need to look at that in further detail, honestly. You know, I don't
Put your head up.
because I mean, we might do a noise ordinance, but it's a noise ordinance that's gonna target the root cause, which is what else they gonna do? You know, they're gonna start flying drones over your house all the time. I have that on mine. That's even worse. So maybe just take the noise for right now, like that. It sucks, but it should be worse. But at least we could look at different things that apply. You know, the noise is one target. That's just a vector. How many more vectors are there that they can use? If noise got passed, that could be potentially violent or worse for you.
Okay. Can we move on? But I do want you to call. I'm serious. And these people will understand that there's more people involved than just you two. Okay, because you came, we've heard you. And if everybody's cool, we're gonna move on. Go on.
I just would like to make a general recommendation. A lot of people are against noise ordinances, they're for them, but if you don't publish something online in advance of a meeting, people don't have the information to make a good decision. And so you have people against a noise ordinance who probably haven't seen this or read it. If you don't put it on your website in advance of a meeting, all of your ordinances, no one is going to know whether it's a good thing or bad.
Exactly.
So then you're in a reactionary mode. If you want more people here, which be careful what you ask for,
Yeah.
is since any ordinance that's proposed, the first reading should be published. And it should be posted on your Facebook page, because I noticed on your Facebook page posting, the noise ordinances weren't there. So they were on the agenda, but not on the Facebook page. So if people could read them in advance, then they will be less inclined to spread this information.
Yeah, and we have to do some legalities of that too, you know, there's, certain things where if you post a draft ordinance, some people might take that as an ordinance that you passed. And so there's some gray area there legally that we'll have to look at as far as if we publish a full draft and how we address it, but that's something we'll definitely take into consideration. I mean, you're right, that would make a difference on everybody here knowing what's going on, and I'm all for it too. We'll have to put a cap on when we get information in, and we'll have to just look and see if there's anything that kind of prohibits us from what we can say since it's a draft.
Okay, but people don't need to be disinformed. All right, motion fails. Let's move on. All right, 332. We got an ordinance here against jake breaks. Everybody knows what a jake break is. Okay, is there any discussion on that? Do we have a motion?
I'll say this, very few municipalities have an ordinance against jake break. When I was looking at the noise ordinance, I was also looking at the jake break. Very few municipalities have one. There's a state law that prohibits that. So basically you're codifying what's already in existence. But again, it's kind of like speeding or anything else. Jeremy or Chris is going to have to see it to decide. So it's going to be difficult to enforce if you pass it, just so you're aware of that.
Okay, and I've been through towns, you know, where they have signs up.
Yes.
So we've already got a state law.
Yes.
Okay, so do we need to put signs up?
Department of Transportation can, and I provide that to SAD where you can get signage, and I would recommend signage to try to alleviate, even if you go with just the state law or whatever.
How would you do it on 26?
You wouldn't be able to.
Huh?
That's all highway patrol, because, you know, our police department's limited to the town.
Yeah. Although they do write tickets on 26.
So does this give us any more teeth or any less teeth compared to the state law?
It amplifies, like the slow ordinance, it amplifies the state law. Basically, if people are here that want to read our ordinances that are staying at the Airbnbs, that are like, well, I got a truck with these jake brakes on it, you know, what are they gonna do to me? Well, if they don't see it, the ordinance on our website, they're like, oh yeah, we do it, it's cool, whatever. But if it's published on our website, it just amplifies it, that's all it is.
And it puts them in city court instead of state court. You know, if highway patrol sites, you go to uniform general sessions court, where there's a higher fine, higher court cost. Here, if you have something in the city court.
And we get
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Alderman Day,
Yes.
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman Phillips,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford,
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes.
That's just the first reading too, by the way. I don't have any,
Okay, we'll move on. We got 333. It's an ordinance. Town Board, Mayor, and Alderman establish ordinance against increase of court cost on the municipal court. And what it is we go by the state limits on this. And right now we're below. And a lot of times on these fines, all we get is court costs. Sometimes that's what the judge says, court costs. Is that not correct? And what that is, we're just going and we're within the limits of the state on this. So is there any discussion on that?
Well, I think this just keeps us from losing money, because sometimes whenever they do the sentence, they don't even do enough, is that correct, Jeremy? They don't even do a correct even pay, so we're actually losing money, and I think that through an ordinance, we're required to at least meet our minimum of what it costs for court costs.
You know, some citations, you're right, the town's losing money on citations.
Yes, so this will prevent that.
I say go to the maximum. You ever see people drive down Unicoi Drive doing 60, 70 miles an hour? I mean, I live off Garland Road, I see people going 60, 70 miles an hour up that road. And it turns into a one-lane road. Speed was there going 30 miles an hour.
Yes, sir.
Municipalities are restricted by punitive damage thresholds. So we can't be punitive in our fines and punishments. The counties and the highway patrol, when they write tickets, they're a lot more substantial dollar amounts. We can't really do that within our statute. But that's kind of what we're doing here is we proposed the dollar amount and they actually all said, actually, let's see what else we could do and increase it, not be punitive. And so that's what we're going with this. What is the dollar amount, Kevin?
I don't have it here in front of me. I think it's,
We went up to
150.
yeah.
I think it would be.
And I think that 150, that was about the max on that, wasn't it? I think that's about the max on court cost.
So there has to be some kind of deterrent because I mean.
I know we were right at the
I
max.
6 from my house, and just in the last 2 weeks, traffic going towards Johnson City has come to a standstill because they had 2 bad accidents up there. I mean, this is how bad people don't obey speed limit signs. I don't know what the cause of the accidents were, but I see all kinds of fire trucks, rescue squad trucks going up there, police vehicles. And it's just sad. People just don't behave. And that's like people are talking about like noise ordinance and everything. What it is to me, it's just a lack of common sense and common decency. That's what's wrong with our society.
We don't
That's it.
No.
Okay.
We'll make a motion to establish the
Do we have
ordinance.
a motion? Did anybody make a motion?
Motion.
I am now.
Second. Alderman Day,
Yes.
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman Phillips,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford,
Yes,
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay, we move on, 334. We're about halfway through the book. All right, now what this is, it's on soliciting. Oh, what it is now, they've got it in the Unicoi book of ordinances that the only people that can put up a roadblock, you know, to collect money is the Shriners. And I don't know why it's like this. The reason we're doing this is like if the fire department, you know, I mean, they have to provide the proper equipment and stuff where they can be seen. But if the fire department wants to put up a roadblock where people can donate money to them, that opens the door for them. And, you know, they have to go to the town and get a permit and let them know when they're going to do it. And it's what? One time annually. So, you know, it's not going to be a big distraction, but I think that'll help the fire department and other
Non-profit.
yeah, that really, you know, want to take and get out there and be seen. Because I'd asked the fire department about this, and I said, well, Rome Mountain, you know, a lot of different places do it, and then if you don't live there, you're gonna give them $5, $10, you know. So I think that'll help the fire department. Is there any discussion on that?
motion to approve.
Second. Oh,
The town is not responsible for an injured firefighter collecting money to get my car or whatever, but, you know, they're still, we're not responsible for their accident.
We would not, they had to petition for a permit, and the permit would have the hold harmless agreement in it that says the town's not responsible. They actually have to petition, the chief has to review the safety measures, and then the board has to vote on it.
We had that issue where I can't go firefighter, around collecting money, he got injured, town.
Okay, good question. Okay.
So we have a motion from Wanda.
Second.
Alderman Day,
Yes.
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman Phillips,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford,
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay, we got the Economic Development Board. Austin Finch is not here for the third time in a row.
His apologies, tonight he is sick, and the last two nights, it was the holiday schedule was switched, so I
Okay.
sent him the calendar or email.
Okay, so he got a kitchen piece. Okay, so we don't have that report though. We don't have any report on it. Okay. All right, Historical Association, Lisa.
I'm not.
Okay. At our meeting the other night, we, voted on having, we're gonna do the golden eggs like we did last year. So we're gonna be hiding them around about 2 weeks before the Easter egg hunt, and get a special price for the Easter egg. So we'll be asking the different businesses if we can hide the eggs. Hopefully we'll get. And, we talked about, Ember came and we talked about maybe doing a handmade craft and potato fest sometime this year. So that would be more of like having a few vendors around the track and then charging the, a small fee to raise some money for us to do things. At Potato Fest, we have like a recipe contest and stuff like that. Get people involved, and maybe even dress up as a potato. And at Easter, as our next event, we're gonna do the Easter bunny contest for kids and probably adults. It may not be a big amount, but they'll get a prize for whoever's got the best handmade bunny instead of the store bought. I think the handmaids are better. And the kids, they enjoy doing it. And then we're gonna be doing the garden and, we're gonna need a little bit of help. If anybody wants to, come volunteer and help us with it, we'll be setting up a date and I'll put it on our Facebook page. It'll probably be on Saturday because that's the only days I'm gonna have because my husband's gonna be doing treatment, and we have to go every day. So Saturday's gonna be our only day to do it. And if anybody wants to donate some dirt or wood or your time or whatever, you can get in contact with me or maybe Amber and she can get them sent to me. And hope everybody comes down and enjoys what we're doing.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Good job. If anybody hadn't been down there, they need to go down there and see this. It's pretty interesting and help out if you can, volunteer.
We're gonna try to be open maybe one day a month. Be down there on Saturday.
Okay, and I've got an idea on your raised gardens where I might be able to help you out. You're just gonna do raised gardens.
And one day that you're gonna be there, is it gonna be on the website, on the Facebook page?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll try to do something.
Okay. All right, on to your next, planning and zoning.
Okay. The Town of Unicoi Planning Commission met on March 3rd, 2025. Under new business, assigned ordinance discussion. Our town ordinance off Unicoi Drive is regulated for no signs within 40 feet to be placed next to the Town of Unicoi sign. The planning board discussed different distances and agreed on 15 feet from the town sign with no signs being allowed to be placed permanently. This recommendation will be sent to the BMA. And I guess, have you gotten anything on that yet, Seth? Being sent, has anybody got anything on that?
No, that's gonna go next once BMA agenda.
Okay, all right. And then under new business was the yearly election for chair, vice chair, and secretary. Then the Town of Unicoi Board of Zoning Appeals also met on March 3rd, 2025. Under new business, discussion of tiny home placement for property located at 3224 Unicoi Drive for Angela Stout. There was no representation for the discussion. Corey, our First Tennessee Development Agency representative, stated that this would be a slippery slope to go down, especially if it was for commercial. Next, under new business was the yearly election of chair, vice chair, and secretary. That's it.
Okey-dokey, okay, let's see, Amber, how, you wanna do kitchen?
I'll do the kitchen. So in February, we had about 27 active members. I gave one tour, but I onboarded 3 people who reported the month prior. So the active member count, I add one on and then one client who signed on last year sometime and never did deposit and even kind of gets taken off. So that's kind of why our numbers stay the same, even though I've added on more. We've had 121.5 hours used last month to 5 different clients. One 19.5, Sarah's Creamery, 76.5, Chef Ariel Adams of Adams Hospitality, 23.5, Comfort Foods, 1.5, Hers Well Charcuterie, and then 0.5 being employed for a can who washes their potatoes for their fish wrap. Year-to-date comparison in February, there were no classes in the class revenue, 121.5 hours rented to 5 processing clients. Total booking revenue, 2,716, and last year in February, it was 631 hours, or $631, compared to this month's. There were 12 storage clients for $930. Fee revenue was $300. There was $750 worth of deposits, and I started tracking deposits separately since it does go into a different account, so liability account. And then food truck revenue is $30, so that brings total revenue up to $4,726. And some things to note, again, it's year to date, and even from January, it's going up. We had a slow winter, December and January, and we're bringing back up where I think we can be. We've been working on marketing and advertising, looking into billboards. I put the kitchen on Appalachian Resource and Development, like newsletter that they send out to local farms. They're gonna come maybe sometime in August at the kitchen to do kind of like a class. And then just some other marketing, trying to get community members involved in the kitchen, adding more classes as well. So anything we can do to get people in the kitchen to see the kitchen is gonna hopefully add more people to the kitchen and increase the revenue. And then we did get a kitchen intern started last week. She's helping me with a lot of small tasks, clerical things. Such a great help. Again, as the mayor said earlier, it's a grant, so it's completely reimbursed, no cost to the town through First Tennessee Development District. So we're very thankful and very glad that she's on board. There's a few things that need to be repaired, so I'm working on getting kind of quotes for the best source, what's good in the kitchen, and then if maintenance can help do some of those things as well, so we don't have to outsource labor. And anyone at all who wants to tour the kitchen, I have cards, contact me anytime, I'm happy to show you.
And would you say that one more time, the difference between last year and this year?
So February of 2024, the booking revenue was $631 versus $2,716. So the total revenue last year was $1,006, and this year is $4,726. So almost $3,000.
Yeah, Amber's worked hard over there. Okay. All right. Recreation.
Me again. So Buffalo Creek Park Arboretum, working with Lisa, she's doing the raised garden beds. She mentioned the handmade craft and potato fest. So there's a lot of projects that we want to do there at the cabin. In part, I'm looking at grants to see if it's reimbursement, no match grants that can help us repair the walking trail there, help update the arboretum. So a lot of the brush has been overgrown. We want to clear that out. And part of what we want to do with the proclamation that new things will be signed earlier today, very appreciative, thank you, is clean the arboretum, clean Buffalo Creek Park. other things we want to do with the cleanup, here at the visitor center and the trailhead also need to be cleaned. Really, so trailhead in here and the park, there's just a bunch of our town centers that can be cleaned out. So I'm working on getting those organized as well. I am working on a town roadmap. I've reached out to ETSU to see if their GIS students can assist with that. There is typically a grant that comes available for town merchandise, so whenever that opens, people used to get town hats, that was real popular, our postcard needs updated, so small stuff like that. For our events, our car show, we're gonna start on April 25, 5:30 to 7:30. I have some flyers here. We're gonna try to do rotating food trucks. Smoker Den, who is a kitchen client, typically look for the first one. I'm gonna ask the Unicoi County High School students, they have a food truck for their culinary program. And then we're looking for the car show. People like t-shirts, stickers, magnets, and just see if we can get some revenue off of that. And then I have the flyer here, which I haven't posted anywhere, so if I need to change anything, please let me know. 2025 Strawberry Festival, everything is going along. Earlier today, we were promised paid or promised, so our goal of 16,000 has been met. So between now and the end of March, we're making sure everyone we promised gets those payments in, see if we can get more sponsors as well, just to top it off so we can put on a real good show for everyone. We are accepting volunteer applications, and then we are working on making sure every other kind of aspect is taken care of. The t-shirts are gonna be like a baby blue color with the Strawberry Festival logo. Last year, the blue shirts sold out really fast. And so we're going off of last year's recommendation to have more larges and extra larges, and that blue color, I anticipate it'll be very popular and hopefully sell out. For Freedom Fest, we are working on getting a few sponsors for that, for the fireworks. And then next year, the semi-quincentennial 250th birthday of America, I anticipate would be really big. So I'm going to work with some possible partners to see how we can best make that festival for the community of Unicoi be really big and spectacular for next year. But this year it's going as planned, and the fireworks will be shot.
Thank you. Okay, Police Department. We got Jeremy Rice.
For the police department, we had 196 calls and we wrote 27 traffic citations.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thank you for your job. You work. Okay, Seth, you got the court report?
Yes, sir. So to expand on what Jeremy just said, there were 27 tickets from February. 15 of those were from the new part-time officer, Caleb Tilson. So that's a good job there, Caleb. We collected 18 payments totaling $1,983.75 in court costs.
Okay. Reporter's report.
So like Kevin, like we were talking about earlier, by approving the Massachusetts Avenue project, that should be slated to begin officially in around a month. So that's exciting stuff. I'll be calling and sending letters to the affected homeowners that live around there. Once I receive the state approved traffic control report from the contractor, I'll be in contact with the contractor daily so that I can relay pertinent information to the homeowner as the contractor gets to the road in front of their house. So I'm just gonna keep everybody abreast of what's happening as it's happening in a lot of time that's affected by the Massachusetts Avenue closure. The project, like we talked about earlier, is gonna be primarily grant financed, with the town covering approximately 7% of their remaining bill, which is pretty good, because I don't know if all of you guys have been down Massachusetts, but it's inverted crown. I've never saw anything like it, but it all goes around the sewer, kind of in there.
Keep driving past the school. That's one.
Yeah, keep going down past the school, you'll see it real quick, because your car will be in a ditch. Budget season has officially kicked off. We're pretty transparent. If you couldn't tell tonight, we're pretty transparent about our thoughts and feelings. Let us know your thoughts about how you want us to manage y'all's funds. You know, we're not funded at all from any property taxes. All of our funds come from sales tax and state tax that's a byproduct of state of sales tax. But anyway, so the funds that we have that we really try to keep a conservative eye over. Let us know how you guys want to appropriate those funds best. You know, if you think that we need to target more police force driven funds, or if we need to target more road related funds, or kind of how you all feel like that we should divvy out what we have to make the town a better place. We're open for that. I've got my card up here. If you want to give me your thoughts on it later on, that's fine too. You know, and then we're trying to really promote the Metal Hearts Kitchen, like Amber was talking about, and Alderman Phillips over here and Amber have really spearheaded that development. And I had a pretty bold idea. I thought it might have been too late, but we're still going to try to get it to go, I think. Watch for an official announcement of that on Facebook. I won't say much more other than, if you know any chefs or cooks or bakers or folk that would be interested in taking on that massive proposition, then see me after the meeting for my card or call the town hall. I've been contacted. Something else that was talking about was the state roads and other representatives are not here anymore. This is going on forever. But I've been in contact with state representatives from FEMA and FEMA regarding getting some money to repair primarily Unicoi Drive from the traffic that's been just absolutely nonstop from the dump trucks going under there. And then that piece of Marvelton where you exit off there, go to the quarry. So we actually have a meeting Friday. I'm not going to talk to everybody about this yet. It just happened this afternoon. But this Friday, they have requested that the board, that Mayor Alderman and myself meet with a FEMA representative to talk about recouping some of these funds for this road. It's an indirect cost associated with the hurricane warning.
What time is that, Steve?
What time? 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Hey, not here yet. Anyway, that's 2 o'clock Friday. There's your all's official announcement before I send it an email. It literally just happened this like right before I came up here.
2 o'clock Friday.
Yeah.
It's up here, right?
No, it'll be at town hall.
Town hall.
Yeah. And on the hurricane relief front, they were talking about where all these trucks are going. They are going to CSX. That is exactly where they're going. All these are contractors on CSX. I know they like to say it's part of the hurricane community relief. It's mostly not. It's mostly CSX relief. And I actually have a template up here from CSX that one of the representatives brought to town hall, kind of giving a timeline for when they anticipate being done. Those are here, can pick one up, come to town hall, and I'll give you some more information that they provided with me. They do estimate that September of 2025 is when that they will be complete, but you know how it is, it's probably not gonna happen. And we had heard, Kevin and I had talked with a citizen that lives up that road, you know, because they had heard that the quarry was gonna be short term. Because we talked about speed bumps potentially on that road to slow down those trucks that fly in through there. But when the homeowner said, well, I would really hate to have them, we don't have to, especially if it's a temporary operation going on up there. But as we could see tonight, I don't think it's very temporary. So we might have to look more and talk to that guy that we met with the other day and tell him, hey, it's not temporary, like that they initially stated. That's all I have to report.
Okay.
Okay, financial.
Well, I get it. All right, so I was talking a minute ago about how the town's funded. You know, we're not funded at all by property taxes. All those go directly to the county. I'm gonna give you some information on that in a second. All of our funds are based on something called local option sales tax. That drives most of our funding. We get 2.75% on the first $1,600 of sale of an asset. So that's what all of our funding is based on, is a tax on that first $1,600. That's what primarily drives the town to allow this great, transparent, all have different thoughts, but all really want the town of Unicoi to be the best that it can be for the citizens, so that we can make sure you guys have best roads, best police, best schools, best everything that we can provide. They work to make that happen with the funding that we've got. And so right now we're looking at roughly around $90,000 is our average monthly local option sales tax. We get around $40,000 from the state, most restricted to be used on roads and such. Property tax revenue for, this is the information I was talking about the county, if you want to know where your property taxes are going, because I think it's pretty important, right? They were like, oh, the county, they take my money, they're not doing anything. Well, we're not getting anything for y'all, unless you're spending your dollars at Dollar General or Walmart or Cracker Beats or wherever you want to go spend your dollar. That's where we're getting their funds from. We're not getting it from your property taxes. The county's getting that. They estimated for 2024, this number's hot off the press there, I literally got this number about 4 o'clock. $2,128,784 in estimated property tax revenue from just citizens located within the town of Unicoi. Of that, the town of Unicoi funds around 20% roughly, if you look at the overall property tax budget allocation that the Unicoi County puts into effect. The town of Unicoi itself funds about 20% of that. And so if you do a little math there, that comes up to about 1.2 million of your property taxes are going to general county fund balance, so wherever we're doing that. 162,472 are going to waste and sanitation, which I know that that's a pretty good stickler point with the current state that's in over here. You know, it's disgusting. Yeah. 49,000 is going to the roads. That seems a little low, but that's what they're getting from your property tax money. So anytime we do a project here in the town of Unicoi limits, we have to contract with, and it via interlocal agreement, we have to contract with the Unicoi County Highway Department if we're using them. So we usually put things out to bid. So if you see Unicoi County doing anything within the town limits, well, we're paying an additional fee that this $49,000 is not covered. We're paying it via bid. That the towns, that's where all the money's going right there. 482,000 of it is going to school funds, and then 231,000 to general debt services. Those are not officially allocated numbers per their budget or anything. That's nothing that would be published. Those are just if you do a little math on based on 20% of their budget that the county employees basically foot the property tax. That's kind of a breakdown of all that. Last month, we like I was talking about the local option sales tax, we get it monthly. February was a short month. The county trustee is the one that remits us a check for that. They didn't write the check until February the 26th. So of course we didn't get it until March. So our net income for February was negative 43,042. But I had a small heart attack at first until I realized I had to thank you. So March will be hyperinflated and it'll look like a very healthy month for the town of Unicoi years. But that's just based on when we receive that short month check on local option sales tax. That's going to conclude my financial report.
Thank you, Seth.
Motion to approve the financials.
Second. Have a motion to approve?
Second.
Alderman Day,
Yes.
if you don't approve, I'm not going to call roll because it's basically an indictment on me. Alderman Lemon.
Yes.
Alderman Phillips.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Radford.
Yes.
Mayor McIntyre.
Yes. Okay. Is there anyone else got anything to say?
I have an announcement, in case you didn't see it in the paper. The Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, Division of Water Resources is having a hearing tomorrow. If people want to go for more hearings, with an emergency permit to CSX for reconstruction of railroad track along 2.5 miles of right-of-way on the Nolan-Chuckee River. It's part of an emergency response after damage to Hurricane Helene. The hearing will be held tomorrow, the 18th, at Irwin Town Hall. There will be a 5 p.m. Informational session and a hearing starting at 5:45. So for all the controversies we've been hearing around CSX, you may wish to attend.
Okay, thank you very much. There's no way.
I'm sorry, it's Irwin Town Hall.
Nobody else got anything to say? We have a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll get a few minutes to say first. There'll be a workshop on Wednesday. That's what Debbie's kind of hitting at. A workshop Wednesday to talk about budgeting. about appropriations and requests from different nonprofits. So if you have any input about how you feel like the county money should be spent, now would be a good time to kind of get on the ball about that before we finalize stuff. The planning commission meeting will be on April the 7th at 5:30 right here. And then at the very next board meeting, where several of these first readings will go for the second reading and public hearing. If you want to see more fireworks, we'll have some April 21st at 5:30 right here.
Okay, is that it? Motion for adjournment. Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Yes. Adjourned by unanimous consent.
Appreciate everybody being here.